Boom! Brian King. What's up, man?
How's it going, man? You know, I gotta
Dude,
say it. What's up,
do it.
Brody?
Ooh, I love it, dude. My shout out to Bree. She came up with that name, and it's so good. The name is golden.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
I love it. I love it. Without the name, I don't even think people would watch. Because I know no one gives a shit what I got to talk about, and I can respect that. Half the time, I don't even want to listen to it. So I get it. I get it. Go ahead and introduce yourself, man. We'll start this one a little bit more formal than the other ones because half the time I don't have them introduce themselves until like 2 hours in.
Oh,
So
yeah, yeah. That's okay. Yeah. So, yeah, glad to be here. Thanks for having me on.
thank
So,
you.
I'm the audience. I'm Brian King. I went to Sam Houston State. I think Jordan and I met. What was that 2011, 2010?
So I got there summer of 2011.
Okay, definitely after 2011. So,
Yep.
yeah. And yeah, but anyway, before we jump into Sam, now I'm an attorney, and I've kind of worked my way backwards. So I'm an attorney, graduated back in 2018 from Thurgood Marshall School of Law in Houston, and before that, went to Sam Houston State, graduated with a bachelor's in poli sci, and I'm one of the, I guess you could say, the lucky ones who's able to actually use use their bachelor's degree or their law degree, just doing things because I've had experience, will have experience in the political realm, whether it's executive branch, legislative, judiciary, and even now when as an attorney, having experience in the executive branch of state government. So it's been pretty fun, and I know we're talking crypto, at some point
Oh,
today,
for sure. We're
and
definitely talking crypto.
yeah, yeah, and that's basically me, man. Oh yeah, and I love to bike. I'm always biking.
We're gonna talk about that too.
Yeah,
We're gonna talk about that too, because
yeah, yeah.
that's something that I wish I did more of. I wish I had a street bike. I wish I was yeah, I'm pretty jealous of those bike rides you take, and those photos you take on them are awesome, man. I love seeing that, dude. Just whatever. What? So I was actually first tangent of the day. I was actually talking about this with somebody today. We were talking about mainly COVID, the whole 9 yards, and we were talking about how like there hasn't been as much emphasis on health and fitness as I think there should be. And we were saying, I was saying this is something that I've observed at least for me personally. I feel like that again with social media, it's been a common topic on the podcast. We've been talking about some of the episodes prior to this. We've been talking about how social media kind of needs a warning label before you join. Like there should be a warning label. It's like the one
Yeah,
thing.
I would agree.
It's the one thing in life that doesn't have a warning label. I told this story in the last episode. I went to HEB and there was an apple pie sitting there, and it said no sugar added apple pie, and then underneath in asterisks it said not low calorie. Look,
Okay.
you're you're a lawman. You
Yeah,
understand the only reason why shit like that is on a label is because someone won something.
yeah, I agree.
Because someone got overweight and then they blamed it on the apple pie.
Yeah,
The no sugar added apple pie. That still
yeah,
has sugar in it, just none that's added.
yeah. Not that much sugar, just
Yeah. So
yeah,
and so we were saying how social media I mean social media is like one of the only things that we do that doesn't have a warning label. It's the only thing that you sign up for, there's no warning. And it's one of those things I feel like has been really positive and also really negative, and I think it's equally as positive as it is negative. It's the extremes of both. And
yeah, yeah. I totally agree.
one thing that we were talking about is that I feel like when people think about health and fitness, which is why I love the fact that you bike mainly, because I feel like everyone wants, when they think of health and fitness, they think like they have to do either like work out as strenuous as something that I'm doing, like CrossFit in the morning, Muay Thai at night, or they have to strive to be this fitness model type physique, or they have to hit the gym 7 days a week for 2 hours, or whatever it is, whatever perception you get of working out based on your experience with social media. And I feel like that just leads people to continuously get discouraged. So that's why I love the fact that you bike. I don't know what else you do physically, but I love the fact that you bike because it's something that is taxing but simple. It's
Yeah.
something that every person can do. It's something that everybody can get out and do and get healthy, stay fit. You don't have to compare yourself to Steve Cook on Instagram or Callum Vamunger. Like, you don't have to compare yourself to those people. Like, you're not those people. Those guys are genetic tickets that you're just not. You can't compete with. You're not going to be those people. Do what makes you happy, and just do it in a way that keeps you fit. Like, if riding bike is your thing, fucking ride a bike, dude. If you want to walk for 2
That's
hours a
perfect.
day,
That's a
just
great slogan.
walk. You
Yeah.
know, and it's just we were talking about this with the whole in conjunction with COVID, and we are just like, I think people try to mirror themselves so much based on what they see on social media, and they get discouraged, and then they just stop working out or they stop doing something because they're like, man, I'm never going to be that good. Well, you probably won't. But that's life. There's always going to be someone better. There's always going to
Yep.
be someone better looking. There's going to be someone who there's going to be someone who is stronger, faster, smarter. No matter what it is that you do, there will be someone better. Um, Sorry, and I didn't mean
Oh,
to
you're
cut you
good,
off
man.
in your introduction there, but
You're good. You're good. Yeah. And to your point about biking, I will definitely, keep taking pictures. I took a bike ride. I did a bike ride this morning, like, like 7 o'clock,
hell
and
yeah.
the streets are empty. It's Friday morning. Ride through downtown Dallas, man. So it's been pretty good. Just doing it sporadically. I don't really uh, have a set plan sometimes. I mean, one of my
You just
friends,
go.
he always bikes as well. He's like, dude, let me know, next time you bike it, and then he'll see some pictures on Twitter, IG, and he's like, dude, you should have told me. So I've gotten better, just reaching out, saying, hey, we're doing this massive bike ride, the last Friday of every month and everything. So it's been pretty fun. We meet new people. My fiance also rides her bike with me, so
Okay.
that's been pretty cool. We also, we just both have road bikes, so we're able to, go, 10 miles, 12 miles. Neither of us are just gassed out, on the bike. So that's the main thing. Is that, as you said, it doesn't matter how old, what your age is, what your physical, really like your physical endurance. It doesn't matter. I mean, anyone can bike. It's not,
Anyone. Anyone
not
can bike.
tough at all. Yeah.
Yeah. Anybody can bike and swim. Pretty much. Well, I mean, just well, not anybody. Nothing's an absolute, but
I mean, I
most
get what you're saying. Yeah.
most
Yeah.
people can bike and swim. Those are two things that are really low impact on the body.
Hmm.
Uh, and that's awesome. So you say so y'all do a big group bike ride at the end of every Friday.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, at the
It's
end of every month. Excuse me. Every
at the
Friday at
end
the
of
end of the month.
what's funny, there's a bike ride tonight. So from 8 p.m. to 11, and this
Oh
one that
shit.
happens, yeah, again next week, and then of course we have the massive one the last Friday. But it goes back to Houston. When I was in Houston between 2015 to 18, there's this big group called Critical Mass Houston, and they would just take over the streets of Houston. And when I say the streets of Houston, I mean
Literally.
down, like they would talk to the mayor, and say, hey, is it okay if we use this route? And they would get approved, and then they still do the same thing, but they would
That's
get
awesome.
approved going through the city. And you can just imagine, driving through downtown, past Peninsula Tower, going through Edo, coming back around, passing by the Toyota Center. I mean, yeah, we would seriously bike like crazy during Critical Mass Houston. And then I moved back to Dallas recently, and then I realized that this is the same group that is doing it in Dallas,
Yeah.
and they have them all over the city. I mean, even in DC, when my fiance was staying up there, we would do Critical Mass DC. So I've been putting the wheels to the pavement in a lot of places, man.
That's awesome, dude. That's awesome. I really like that because, like I said, I mean, it doesn't need to be that crazy. You don't have to be a CrossFit athlete, or you don't have to go and get punched in the face for fun, or pay someone to punch you in the face. It's a little weird. You don't have to do
Yeah,
all
yeah.
that. Just do whatever it is that makes you happy, that keeps you active.
Yeah, yeah, and I wasn't I guess you could say a road bike or a bike enthusiast guy, but with the pandemic, I had so much time on my hands,
Right?
and one thing that I kind of made, I guess you could say, a promise to myself during, I guess you could say, March 2020, like between March and April, was to not come out of at least come out of 2020 the same person, I was. So at that time, I didn't have a bike. I had sold my old bike. I had a mountain bike in Austin, and I moved to Dallas. But I sold it before I moved. So um, at that time, it's just like, okay, I'm playing Xbox. I'm gaining weight. Like, dude, I got to do something. And ended up buying a bike, and then it's been like, the best thing since the pandemic started, as far as physical activity.
Sure, sure.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
aw that's awesome. How was work during the pandemic for you?
You know, so far, let me see, I've been licensed as an attorney since 2019. So
Okay.
I've had 1 year pre-pandemic, 1 year during the pandemic ongoing, and I can't say too much has changed. The workload is the same, but being able to do work remote, that's been a blessing in disguise. Being able to just show up to court, through the computer. I mean,
Yeah.
we're on Zoom doing Zoom hearings, and if we're not in, I guess you could say, court, or virtual court, then we're doing all our meetings through teleconference, through Zoom. I've been to way too many networking events. I mean, I've been able to just network. During the pandemic, I remember talking to different interns and law clerks that we had, and even just other students interested in law, and just tell them, they would ask me, hey, how do you network, during this time where everybody's virtual? And it's just like, you kind of just create as you go. And being a lawyer, honestly, it's about being creative. You set precedents along the way. I mean, of course, you can look back at say, okay, this court ruled this way, so we should apply this law to these set of facts. But then with the pandemic, it's like, what facts do we go off of? What law do we go off of to address
Yeah.
the pandemic? And it was a lot of new things for us, a lot of learning curves, especially just say older. I don't want to call people old, but I'll just say just a generational gap in reference to just technology, because to tell somebody that they could download the Zoom app to their cell phone, and they can conduct meetings just through their phone, it's kind of like, well, man, I'm so used to doing in person.
Yeah.
Now I don't have to leave. I can just go to the next room, and now I have like 80 people on my screen, and we don't have to really coordinate with everybody's schedule. It's just like, okay, let's pick a time that works for everybody, and we all just talk in like 30 minutes, and it's been good. Like I
Oh
said,
yeah.
yeah,
That's awesome, man. And no, it's unfortunate, but this is how life works.
yeah. You
What
have to adapt.
Well,
That's it.
that, and is someone, what affects someone negatively affects somebody else positively. That's
Mhm.
politics 101. And the pandemic's been no different. What has affected some people negatively has affected other people positively. I made more money last year than I ever have before. I wrote more business than I ever have before. I broke a lot of different personal records last year that I possibly wouldn't have made or wouldn't have broken had it not been the big like move to Texas, all these people coming into town, us being open.
Yeah.
I was extremely lucky and extremely fortunate to have a job. I was extremely fortunate to make more money than I ever have during a year that was so tormenting to so many people. And that's something that I'm going to look back on and be like, damn, that was really cool. That was good. I'm glad that I had a job. I'm glad that because I think that um, I think the working from home is great,
I
but
agree.
but I think the working from home made people maybe made some of the people who weren't at risk a little bit more afraid than they should have been, because me working in the public, I have a different perspective and a different perception than a lot of people do of the whole pandemic. Like, I was out in public the entire time. Like, I,
Mhm.
I didn't have a choice. It's my job. And um man, for us, dude, we just had people kind of just abusing the system. There was really I didn't have anybody close to me getting sick. It was people just taking COVIDcations. Um,
Okay.
and and so and I say that because it's just like everything in life is just about perception. How did you
Yeah.
see it? Like, how is it being presented to you at that moment? And it was an awful time for a lot of people, but then there's a lot of people who made a lot of money. Roofers, flooring, all those guys were killing it. House builders, home
I
builders, like
agree.
those guys just making so much money right now. And it's always interesting how one thing can benefit somebody and then completely torment somebody else. And that's just how life works. Um, and I was going somewhere with that, but I don't remember. But
Yeah,
what
no,
is it?
I'll jump in.
Go ahead.
Like,
Go ahead.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
with perception, I mean, that's major because with my fiance, she's an attorney as well,
Okay.
and her pandemic experience working has been totally different than mine. I mean, even though
Okay.
she's been all virtual, but I mean, for one, we practice two different types of law. But the main thing is that with her, I guess you could say her employer, they're more virtual friendly. They want everything to be virtual.
Okay.
With my I just say my employees virtual friendly as well, but it depends on what type of work you're working on because sometimes you may have to go to the office. You may get some law books or something, or you need to print out something. But with her, I mean, she's basically just doing everything from here. There, just if they could, I put it this way, it's kind of like, hey, if we can do everything digital, we'll do digital over anything in person or anything hard copy. And I mean, that's how I see it. But of course, it's Texas, man, so it's not really,
Yeah.
a surprise,
Yeah.
but yeah, yeah. So I would say my perception is it's not totally like yours, but I just say I get out the office just to breathe. I mean,
Yeah.
get out. Well, I get out the house to breathe. I put it that way.
Yeah, well, I
Yeah,
think you had to. I mean, you were gonna lose your mind. I mean,
yeah,
this is all. I mean, unless if you live by yourself, this is solitary confinement. They they do this to prisoners to fucking destroy them, like to break their mental. Like,
yeah,
they keep you in a box for 23 hours out of the 24 hours of the day to purposely break you. And you had to get outside. You had to get outside. You had to do something and responsibly. Like, I don't. I don't think that a lot of people were, well, not a lot of people. I can't speak for everybody. But even though my caution wasn't as high as somebody else's, my response, I mean, I was still responsible about it. It's not like I went out partying all that much. I didn't do a lot of that.
Mhm.
Um, but I had to get outside though. I had to go and still interact with people, like do something. Um,
Yeah. I agree.
it was important. It was important to do something. And the people who were stuck at their house the entire time, worked from home, never left, got their groceries delivered, got their food delivered, got all of that, they have a far different perspective on everything that's going on than someone who was actually in the public and like who was working in the public, who was there day to day, who's been interacting with people from the start. We were only shut down for 6 weeks, so we went back to work.
Wow. Okay.
We went back to work like May 10th. So it's like maybe a week or two after the lockdown let up, we were
Hmm.
back at work. It took no time at all. Yeah,
Man, yeah,
they
that's a
didn't
quick
waste no
turnaround.
yeah, they didn't waste no time,
Yeah.
bro. Money, 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 money. They wasted no time. And at first, we were all we didn't want to be there at first because we didn't fully understand what was going on yet, and we didn't want to be there. And looking back on it though, uh, I'm grateful for it because I had a job. I was able to pay my
Yeah.
bills. I was able to take care of business, and that's something to be grateful for. What kind of law does your fiance study? And then we'll get into
That's
you.
tax. If I had to,
Okay,
break it down beyond that, I'll butcher it. But
fair
I'll
enough.
just say, yeah, just international tax. That's yeah,
That's an interesting one. I bet you she has some pretty good stories.
oh, a lot, man. I mean,
Uh,
she's the complex one in this
yeah,
relationship, man. Yeah, yeah.
tax.
She's the smarter one.
Everyone's
Yeah.
always trying to get away from tax.
Hmm.
Everything's about
Yeah.
how can I avoid tax. I bet yeah, she's got to have some pretty awesome stories. And then what about yourself? What kind of law you study?
Yeah, I do data privacy, consumer protection, and I dabble into public finance. But it's kind of like if I just had to put it in a nutshell, I'd just say business litigation. But I do have a focus on data privacy.
Okay.
Yeah.
And is that something so when you're going through Sam Houston, you're going to get your bachelor's degree, is this something that you knew you wanted to do or is this something
No.
that arose? Okay.
Well, hold on. When you say something, is it the area of practice or just law? Period.
No, the area of practice.
Oh no, no, no.
Okay, but you knew you wanted to go into law.
Definitely.
Okay.
Yeah. And that stemmed from an internship at a law firm here in Dallas. I mean, they have offices around around the nation. But I'll just say when I interned at a place in Dallas, I saw the attorneys, and they had a pretty balanced work life. And I'm just looking
Really?
at these guys. I think I may have been 18 years old, 18 or 19, but I'm seeing these attorneys and men and women, and they're having this work life balance to where, I mean, they would show up at 9, some would leave, not come back until 2, and they would just not look stressed. I mean, they may have carried it well, but it was kind of like, man, being an attorney is not that bad, at least the law that they were doing.
Sure.
And yeah, and it's just kind of like seeing that up close. Since I didn't have any attorneys in my family, growing up, it was just actually, seeing like, man, these are live and breathing people. Like they're not
Yeah.
this mythical creature. And I would see them, every day. I mean, I still talk to several that were there, and just still seeing them now. It's weird being on the other side of I guess you could say, being on the other side of the bar exam, and now we just see. I can see how they could handle things, because you just have to prioritize. And as you said before, it's all about perception. My perception of them was, man, they make this look easy. They made being a lawyer look easy. And then, of course, being an attorney, now your name is on the line. You're
Oh
actually
yeah.
signing the briefs and whatever other documents to the court. Now it's kind of like, now this is serious, this is stressful,
Yep.
but over time you embody that title, and and make your best effort.
That's that's shocking. You wouldn't think that work-life balance and attorney would go in the same sentence unless
No,
it
no,
unless not was in
that's why
in
I
the
always,
middle.
and it's a joke, but it's kind of serious when I always say to one of the I always say to them, thank you for being poised, in the
Yeah.
midst of stress, because I'm sure
Yeah.
you were stressed at the time, and probably still are now with things, but seeing just how someone handled it at 17 years old, 18 years old. I'm in an impressionable age, at that time, to be an attorney, if I'm even thinking about something like that. And just seeing like, what, okay, I can do that. That doesn't look too tough.
Dude, that
you
had to
know?
have been pretty powerful. Like you said, you were at an impressionable. What was the
Yeah,
word you used?
impressionable. You good.
Impressionable. Thank you. Um,
It's too
and
much, too much Tempo Chico.
yeah, right. It's all gone. Oh, whoop, woohoo. No, that had to have been powerful. Like you, or maybe reinsuring. Like you're like, oh, dude,
Definitely
that is
reassuring.
what I want to
Yeah.
do. Like that seems cool. Like they've got this work-life balance. They make good money. Their job is important. It's meaningful. It has impact on society. Like, and I'm not completely stressed out. Wow, this is a dub. Like this is a steal. Like how come
Yeah,
not
yeah.
everybody's not an attorney? Like what?
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like, as I said before, I mean, that's so much you go through. I mean, colleagues and people who retired out of the profession, but there's a, I'll just say there's an uphill climb for everybody. I will say that, um, but it's just one of those things you just look at, and as I said, depending on what type of what area, what practice area you're in, I mean, it has it has its different levels of stress, but as you said, yeah, it's definitely reassuring to where it's kind of like, okay, well, these guys are really making this look easy.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
yeah.
and a work-life balance is so important.
Hmm.
We're learning that. And I think COVID stressed that. I think COVID stressed that a work-life balance is super important. And I think like I said, the whole working at home is a really good thing. I just think that people needed to get out a little bit more to kind of to experience, what was going on. But I get it. But like working from home has shown that things could be a lot more efficient. Like we don't
Yeah,
need
yeah,
to necessarily work as much as we do, or how long the duration doesn't need to be the same because we can get the same amount of work done in shorter blocks. And I think that's probably one of the best things that's come from this entire thing is that people are starting to kind of rethink their business models, and I think that's awesome. I think that work-life balance is so important that, look, we all got to pay our bills, but we all want to live life too, and
Yeah, yeah, you have to.
you have to find out how to balance those two, and it's really tough, and I'm just starting to really learn how to balance that. I work a 40-hour work week, nothing crazy, 44 45 hours, just depending on
Mhm.
the week, sometimes 50 if it's a holiday or whatever. And I'm just starting to kind of learn how to do the things that I want to do. And I think it's a mixture of learning how to balance work and life, but then also it's a mixture of just getting tired of waiting for other people to do things with you. Like
Mhm.
I've gotten to the point where, look,
You gotta
man,
do them yourself.
yeah,
You
yeah,
know?
yeah, yeah. I've gotten to the point where it's like I'll hit somebody up if they want to go, cool. If not, I'm going anyways.
Yeah, yeah, that's the
Like,
best attitude, man.
yeah, it's gotten to, like I've gotten to that point finally, and it feels really good. I'm going to Colorado next week.
That's amazing. What part?
Um, Colorado Springs.
Okay, okay,
Yeah, so I guess when people see this, it'll be after my birthday.
okay.
So when people watch this, it'll be after my birthday. I'll be back from Colorado. However, I am going next week, the week of the 18th. I'll be up in Colorado Springs. Gonna go to the Garden
That's
of
amazing.
Gods, and
Take pictures, man. Post
oh,
them.
of course, I got you. I got you. All the pictures,
Thank
man.
you.
I'm taking the dog. It's just me and the pup. Um, it was one of those things like it would have it'd be cool if someone came, but at the same time I was going no matter what. So it's like if someone wants to come, cool. Airbnb's paid for. If not, well, I'm going either way.
No, I get it. I get
And
it.
that's how I got into Muay Thai. I mean, my friend was supposed to go with me. This is when it really clicked.
Mhm.
So I had boxed. I had boxed with a friend probably about 4 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago,
Okay.
and boxed him, and he said, Jordan, if you trained, I could have you really good, really quick. You just have a natural kind of natural tendency for this. And I was like, okay. And I just never followed up with it. And I kept like asking friends. I was like, hey, you want to go with me? You want to go up to this gym and check it out?
Mhm.
And they'd be like, yeah, no, not really. And I'd be like, oh, well, I don't really want to go by myself. So I kept putting it off, kept putting it off, kept putting it off. And then last year, finally, it was sober October. And I was like, the month of October, I'm gonna go do what I want to do.
Mhm.
And I had told a friend, I was like, hey, I'm gonna go check out this gym. You want to come? He was supposed to come with me. That morning, he texted me like, nope, not gonna be able to come. I said, fuck it, I'm going by myself. Going no matter
Yeah.
what. And then I walked in there, and then here we are, dude, almost a year later, and
Wow.
I love it. I love it. Like, do if there's anything that anybody if you take anything from this podcast, it's like don't compare yourself to people on social media. Do whatever makes you fit, but then also just go do things that you want to do regardless if someone is there. Nobody has to be there. Nobody has to be there with you. You don't need nobody else. Just go have fun. Go eat at that restaurant you've been meaning to eat at. If nobody wants to go, who cares? Go.
Yeah,
If you want to
do
go
it.
see if you want to go see that movie, go see the movie. And I've learned that each and every time that I do things on my own, I usually end up meeting somebody. Like you end up
Yeah,
having a
yeah.
casual conversation with somebody
I
at
have a
that place.
story. I have
Okay.
a story.
Boom. Share it.
Oh man. So this was, I'm I'll kind of jump ahead of myself and I'll backtrack. But
Okay. Okay.
so it's kind of like so March 2020 pandemic happens, right? So this is February, I think, just say mid February,
Okay.
and I went to a concert. It was a DJ, one of my favorite DJs, and he was out in Dallas. And just imagine, I go to a great concert, mid February, and then 2 weeks later, 3 weeks later,
Boom.
the whole country shut
Shut
down.
down. Shut down.
And I had two other concerts that I plan on going to. The point is, I have these shows booked, to go by myself. And at the time, our fiance was in DC, so I'm in Dallas, and but I'm like, hey, I just have to go. I want to have fun. I want to
Yep.
listen to great music, vibe, chill, whatever. And I remember in mid-February, I go to this concert. Um, I think I showed up. I showed up early. This lets you know how excited I was for the show. The doors opened at it's maybe I don't know 6:30, and
Okay.
I walk up there. I'm like, you know what? People like this DJ. I need to get there early, so I get up there. I mean, early for this DJ it was maybe like 30 minutes early. So I show up at 6, and there are 4 other people in line. And we kind of just exchange greetings. Hello, how you doing? You're here to see the DJ. Yeah, we're excited. Blah blah blah. And one of the bouncers comes out. He's like, "Hey, the DJ's not getting on until like 8. So like y'all can just like go and come back." But I'll remember everybody. So he gives us these wristbands, and he's just like, "Wear these wristbands when the doors open."
Y'all be good.
Which are an hour from now, you guys can just walk on in. Just it's no problem. So these like 6, 7 other people. I mean, I have a picture. I put it on IG. I have it on my phone. I don't feel like getting it. But anyway, just imagine 6, 7 random people I just met.
Yeah.
They love the same DJ. They love the same music. I mean, we're exchanging just music, artists, different genres. I mean, it's like I love music as well. But it was just crazy because I didn't know these people, um, you know, walking up, to the venue, and then 10 minutes later, we're grabbing beers around the corner, just talking music, man. And we exchange IG, Instagram, all that cool stuff, and we go into the concert, and we're the first ones in, and all I remember is, and I don't mean to say that as if I was just blacked out drunk. And it's just like, it's pandemic time, man.
Sure.
So, so all I remember is that I think it was maybe 8 of us, but it felt like I was just in this like new friend group.
Yeah.
It just everybody
Yeah.
just merged together,
Yeah.
and it's even weird because even now, I mean, I'll see different people go to different concerts. I think Nipsey Hussle had a show.
Rest in
Um,
peace.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. He had a show that one of the guys went to, and of course, after the Nipsey thing happened, I think it was like a birthday or anniversary commemorating Nipsey. He put a picture up, and he was at the actual concert that Nipsey was here in Dallas, and it's kind of like, man, you just never know who you meet, and it's just cool, man.
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah, yeah, but as you say, you have to get out of your comfort zone. And I was one of those guys to where it's just like, I'll put it this way, like I have my comfort zone, but now it's like it's just been expanding since the
Yeah.
pandemic. It's like
Yeah.
since all of those government mandates, wherever if it was the state, if it was coming from the federal government or even local, the walls closing in on me made me want to get out even more. You know,
Yeah. I
and
get,
just
dude, I
do
feel
more.
that. I feel that
And
because again, like the pandemic for me, and I don't want to take this away from anyone who died during this time. Like I don't want to take away from those people, but for me personally, this has been one of the best times. Like I've like you said, your comfort zone has grown.
mhm,
And that means you've taken that risk to get uncomfortable, but now now you're comfortable doing that. So now that uncomfortable zone is further out,
yeah,
and now you're more comfortable in doing more things. And that's just where I'm at. Like you might have saw on Instagram the other day, like I just went to some random Korean hole in the wall the other day, in this random Korean supermarket in the middle of in the a little bit further north in Austin, or excuse me, a little bit further south in Austin. And I'm just tired of waiting for people. Like I'm just like, look, I'm gonna go live life. Y'all can do whatever it is that you
yeah.
want to do, and you can stay at home and do whatever. And if that's what you want to do, that's cool. But I want to go out there, eat good food. I want to hang out
Speaking
with
of
cool
food, have you
people.
had Bird biscuit?
Whoa, no, what is
You need to
this?
get if you love biscuits,
Okay,
go to Bird biscuit.
is that here?
It is in Austin. It is on Manor Road. It
Can you spell
is
that? Bird bird?
yeah, Bird.
Oh, bird bird. Oh, okay.
Yeah, Bird biscuit. It's on Manor. It's across from UT's campus. Um, you just go a little deep
It's
into
good.
the, but it's really good. It's on East Austin.
Okay. Okay. Hey, dude, East Austin's where the food is at.
Yeah, but go ahead, man. Yeah, you're talking about the
Um,
Korean place. I love Korean food as well.
no,
Yeah.
so I mean, I'm just saying, like, I'm just tired of waiting for people, and I've just gotten to that point, and it feels good. It feels good. Like, go to restaurant. I should go to restaurants by myself all the time now. Um, I'll go see a movie by myself if I want to.
Mhm.
Um, like I said, I walked into the Muay Thai gym by myself, and that group of people, I can't talk about them enough, dude. That group of people is just wonderful. They're just
That's
wonderful. It's
great.
a bunch of misfits, bro. And we're all just in there just getting punched in the mouth. It's just it's just a bunch of misfits, dude. You know, it just comes from all walk of lives. Like everybody in there is completely different, and it's just awesome, dude. We're just one big giant family, and it's great. It's great. The gym is great. Shout out to John's gym. I know a lot of y'all listen, so I appreciate y'all. And it's just a great time, man. And yeah, so I got I'm gonna butcher this. So if there's anyone who speaks Korean that's listening to this, I apologize. I believe the noodles are called jjajangmyeon. It's a noodle dish with red bean sauce.
That sounds good.
It was really good. And so I go to this random Korean hole in the wall because I watch Mikey Chin on YouTube, Simply Dumplings. So he's a food reviewer.
Okay.
Yeah. So
I'm
I'm
writing it down. How do you spell his last name?
Chen, Chen.
Got it.
So
Okay.
I'm an abs dude. I'm just he lives in Dallas, by the way. So he reviews a
Yeah.
ton of Asian spots in Dallas.
That's great.
Look, I
That
love
is
Asian.
amazing.
I love Asian food. I love Asian food. They're
That's the
just
best news I've heard all day. You know.
oh dude, it's great. You'll be addicted. I watch his videos every morning. I'm watching one of his videos. I love the dude. He's great, man. Um one day I'm gonna reach out to him for the podcast. He just doesn't know it yet. But I'm just
Yeah.
an absolute foodie. I'm an absolute foodie. Uh, I've gotten to the point where I've accepted that I won't have the physique that I want because I just love food too much.
Mhm.
And I've gotten to the point where it's like, okay, I just got to find that balance. I just got to work out enough to keep the weight off. And so the guy, Mikey
Yeah.
Chan, he works out 3 times a day to keep the weight off. He eats
Okay.
so much food. So all he does is make food YouTube videos and works out. And he reviews mainly Asian places and then Texas he'll do barbecue and buffets and a whole bunch of other stuff. But
Yeah, he
um,
definitely has to work out 3 times a
yeah,
day.
dude.
Eat a Texas
He eats a
barbecue.
ton. And so I had my own little uh Mikey Chin moment. So he was talking about the noodle dish on his YouTube channel. He was talking about how it's like one of his favorite Korean dishes. And I was like, okay. And I've tried a lot of things that he's recommended and he's nailed it most of the time. I feel like we'd be best friends. I feel like we'd be best buds for sure. And so he recommends it. I'm like, all right. So I Google it. Boom, boom, boom. Who has it? And this Korean supermarket pops up. Hana World Market. And I'm like, fuck it, I'm gonna go. And so I get out the gym, and I'm like, I just go straight there. And I walk in, it's this little Korean supermarket. Everyone in there is Asian, like it's legit, authentic. I walk to the food court, and I order my noodle dish. And next to the noodle spot was a Hawaiian spot. And
Oh
so
wow.
in this food court, and so I'm like, oh, I'm staring at the menu, and I'm like, oh, I gotta get something. So I walk up there and I'm like, hey, what's your favorite? She was like, I really recommend the Hawaiian pork ribs. I'm like, bet, let's do that. And so
Man, that's
I had this
okay.
dude, I had this Korean oh man, I was cheesing from ear to ear, bro. I was so happy. I had a Korean noodle dish next to me with some kimchi, and then I had Hawaiian style pork ribs over some rice. And I just had two big ass dishes in front of me, dude. I just went to town, dude. I just went to town. And I just love food and I love cooking. I love cooking a lot.
That's a
Uh,
great skill, man.
dude, it is.
It's fun. Yeah.
It is fun. It is fun. And cooking for people is cool. Like,
Mhm.
I'm very much somebody who I want you to enjoy. Like, if I recommend a food spot, I want to be there when you eat it. Like, I want to be there when you
See,
taste it because
that's
I want
like
to.
bird biscuit. Like
Okay.
I actually
Okay.
want to like just you don't
I'll
even have to
send you a
sit.
video. I'll send you a video.
Yeah, whether it's a video or like a before and after. Like
All right. I got
yeah.
you. I got you.
Yeah.
I'm going to try it. I wrote it down. I'm going to try it. It's going to get added to the list. So, my friend and I have a list, a coworker and we have a list of places we're trying. And so I just been checking them off the list. I went and got soup dumplings downtown the other day. Well, I guess not the other day, like a couple weeks ago with
Well, give me some. Yeah, this is in Austin, right?
this was in Austin, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Lynn's.
Lens. Okay.
Yep, Lin. Soup dumplings on 6th Street. Bruh.
Those are my favorite.
Yeah. And then if you like pho, I know you've seen on my Instagram page, that beef
Yeah.
pho, bro. That spot, 1618 Asian fusion.
Okay. Okay.
That pho, that bowl of pho will change your life. It's Texas barbecue meets Vietnamese pho.
Oh wow.
So the smoky flavor of the ribs gets into the broth of the pho, and it's, bro, it took them a year to perfect the recipe. I was talking to one of the managers there, and it took them a
Mhm.
year to perfect the recipe, and they tried and tried and tried, and finally they nailed it. And oh my gosh, it's so good. So I took,
That's definitely on the list, man.
yeah,
Thank you.
yeah.
Yeah.
So back to exactly what we were just talking about. I want to be there when people try it, and I want to enjoy those things. So when you're in town, dude, I'm down to always eat. Let me know.
Yeah, I'll definitely
And
be there next month.
and
Next month, I should be back. Go ahead.
oh, I
Yeah,
will
yeah,
be here.
yeah. Yeah, we'll make
And
it happen.
hungry and hungry. And so I took all my work people, took my work people out there to 1618 Asian Fusion. And I was like, look, this is what you got to order. If you don't order this, I don't want to hear it when you try someone who did order it. When you try someone's bowl of pho, I don't want to hear why didn't I order that. So
Yeah.
about, I think like 7 out of the 13 all ordered the same thing, and it was awesome. Everybody loved it, and I love that. Like I love introducing people to things that they normally wouldn't eat. Like I had people try the octopus. Like people have these like these barriers built in their head with anything. Fear stops us from doing everything. And so everyone was like,
Mhm.
I don't want to try that octopus. I don't want to try that octopus. I'm like, okay, I get it.
It's
It's
delicious,
weird.
man.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
and it's like I get it. It's weird. It's a little octopus. It's on a skewer. I get it. It's odd. Just put it in your mouth and just put it in your mouth, bro. And pause. Someone gonna clip that.
But it's good. Yeah, it's
No,
good,
but
man.
it's really good. And where was I going with this?
Oh, just trying something new, and just looking
Yeah,
at how octopus could be
it is
weird and
different. It is
different.
different. It's different. It does have a different texture. Um, but it's good, dude. The tentacles are great. If it's cooked right, it's good. Um, when what else, man? I did a Korean barbecue spot not too long ago. All you can eat Korean barbecue here in Austin. That was really good. Uh, anything, dude, anything Asian, I'm down.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm
Um,
down.
have you tried this place called Wu Chow?
No.
It's on I don't want to get the wrong street, but it is in downtown,
Okay.
and I want to say it's close to the West Sixth end
Okay.
of downtown. So I'll just say it's like I think on Third or Fourth Street, but Wu Chow is worth a visit.
Okay.
Yeah,
Bet. Y'all have in Dallas and Houston, man. There's a huge, huge Asian scene.
yeah, yeah.
Wait, now, recently in Austin during the pandemic, spots are just popping up. We're getting authentic Asian places just sprinkled all throughout the city, and it's awesome. But
Mhm.
in Houston, they've always been there on Bel
Oh
Air.
yeah, definitely.
Woo! You go to Chinatown on Bel Air.
I used to stay over there, man. Yeah,
Oh,
Southwest Houston.
dude, that
Yeah,
that food is phenomenal.
yeah.
Have you had like, I don't really know what the exact term is, but I guess the way that the Chinese they prepare lobster.
No, I have not. I
Oh,
will say that's something I haven't had.
that's your new mission right there. Chinese prepared lobster, bro, and prawns. If you haven't had
Oh yeah,
big
that's why I said Wu
big
Chow. Wu
prawns,
Chow,
bro.
Wu
Okay.
Chow has some of the best prawns.
Ah, okay, okay,
They
okay.
put like this sauce is like a drizzle that
Yep,
goes over the oh man. Yeah, yeah.
yep. Yeah, dude. The way that they do the lobsters, they usually get it real crispy, and it's so good. It's so good. You'll like it. Uh, but yeah, I mean, dude, I can't say it enough. Just go do whatever it is that you want to do. Just go have fun. Do it by
Yeah.
yourself. If someone wants to go with you, cool. If someone doesn't want to go with you, just go do it anyways. Go enjoy it. Go downtown. Walk by yourself. Just go talk to random people. If people are walking by, just talk to somebody. You know, most people are pretty open to conversation. A lot of us, I feel like we've gotten so introverted just naturally and just by nature,
Hmm.
and that the majority of us really do crave that conversation. Like, yeah, eh, but it just depends on who it is, right? But we do crave that conversation. Like, we want to talk to people, like we want to
Yeah.
hear their experiences, we want to hear about whatever it is. And like you said, when you're going to something like a concert by yourself, you're gonna meet people there with the same enjoyments because they're
Yeah.
at the same concert as you. Like Joe Rogan talks about this a lot, Dave Chappelle, a lot of these big comedians talk about this all the time. They're like, dude, go to the comedy shows by yourself. If you want to go, just go. You're going to meet someone there. They're all there because they're fans of whoever it is that you're seeing. It's a very
Right.
easy segue. It's a very easy conversation. Just go there, wait in line, talk to people, have fun. Uh, but back to
Yeah.
law.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's go ahead. Go
So,
ahead.
so you, okay, so you didn't know that this was the aspect of law that you wanted to be in. You graduate Sam Houston. Take me through that. How did we get here? How did we get here?
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, I could take us back to, let's say, 2011, and yeah, 2011. Yeah, and I started out as a criminal justice major, and I think, well, I'm thinking about the reason I came in as a CJ major, but I can't remember right now. But long story short, I take this one class. It was called Budget and Public Policy,
Okay.
and this was in within that political science realm. I think this may have been one of those core requirements for poli sci, and I was just fascinated by, and I may have been the only one fascinated with public policy and budget, just in reference of the federal government. And then I think after that class, I I changed my major. I talked to the professor. I talked to my parents. I just said, hey, I'm really thinking about changing my major to poli sci. Like, it's too easy for me. Like, just doing this. Like, I'm actually enjoying it and it's easy. So I don't know, like, why would I go through a challenging major? I mean, even though the major may be good as far as job prospects, but why would I want to kill myself?
Yeah, right?
If I'm actually enjoying something and I'm excelling at it, you
Yep.
know?
Yep.
So yeah. So anyway, I changed my major to poli sci, and then I bumped criminal justice down into the minor because I had already done, I think, maybe 4 or 5 courses in that
Okay.
in that major. So it's kind of like, keep it. Why would you start a new minor and kind of like push your graduation date later? So anyway, speed things up. I got really involved in the political science organization there, and that that was great. I'll say, if it were not for that organization, I probably would not have been able to feed my appetite for, I guess you could say, policy making and everything in the political realm, because that organization showed me a lot. Well, what you can do within that realm, from foreign affairs to nonprofits. I mean, of course, you always see elected officials. You always see, um, well, I mean, elected officials cover so much, but aside from elected officials, even appointed officials such as ambassadors of foreign countries, being a secretary of defense, a secretary of just a presidential cabinet. So, we were able to see, well, at least I was able to see so many aspects of just pathways. You can start out as a poli sci major, but there's so many funnels that it could take you to. And and of course, law was one of those. I did see the common thread of law being that, but at this time, I think I had returned to the firm I mentioned earlier, maybe 2 or 3 times, 2 or 3 summers, and of course that kept building that appetite for law.
The same internship, the
Same
same
internship.
the same
Yeah,
spot. Okay.
yeah, yeah. So that law firm internship, fed that law appetite. Meanwhile, during the fall and spring semester at Sam Houston, the political appetite is getting fed. And of course, so I make it through junior year, I get to senior year at Sam, and There was a spring internship I was able to get in Austin, and this is the only reason I didn't I didn't spend my last semester on campus is because I was in Austin doing it,
Okay.
and
Okay.
um, I ended up it was fun, but it was just kind of crazy how it went because just imagine you're in a dorm or whatever apartment um, fall of senior year, and then you move out, and then you move to Austin. So then you come back, to Sam Houston just to graduate, and that's it.
Yep.
So it's kind of like everything I wanted to do or needed to do for senior year to just, I guess you could say, cap it off. I needed to do that fall. So this is something I don't regret, but it's just just good that I just got out of the comfort zone and went for something that I didn't really know what would turn how it would turn out and everything, and but that fed the political appetite, and eventually I returned back to the law firm that I mentioned with the internship. And but instead of internship, now full-time employee. It's pretty cool. You get to move up in the world. So I start there.
On the payroll.
Yeah, yeah, I'm on the payroll now, man. And I stayed there for roughly a year and a half, and that was fun, honestly, man. Returning back to the firm, and honestly, I actually went to another office. So when I was interning during college, that was all in Dallas. Those 3 or 4 summers I did at the firm, that was in Dallas, and then that year and a half after Sam Houston was spent in Fort Worth, and that was fun. I mean, Fort Worth it's a lot of people not from this area think that Dallas and Fort Worth are literally um,
The
like next door
same.
neighbors. Yeah,
Yeah.
are the same. But no,
Yeah.
it's almost, well, I would say for those from Houston, it's literally like Houston, and then it's the Woodlands,
Yep.
or it's like literally it's like Austin, and then there's
See.
Waco.
Yeah.
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 So it's like, I mean, the drive is not that far, but I'm a Dallas guy. I was born here, raised here. So, you know, I'm always
I
going to
love
say,
I love
yeah,
it up there. I love Dallas.
yeah. But I will say, I love Fort Worth, so I have nothing bad to say. It's a great city. Anyway, so I spent a year and a half there. The same, I'll just say different attorneys had the same energy. They had the same work-life balance. Fort Worth is pretty laid back. This is coming from a Dallas guy, so I mean, any Fort Worth listeners, I apologize. But to me, it's pretty relaxed, laid back, kind of like Huntsville. It's kind of
Okay.
slow, but you kind of go at your own pace. And the attorneys there, I mean, there wouldn't be just a feeling of hustle and bustle there, and but everything was done. There wasn't any issues with my work, anyone else's work. So um, it was just great to see how different paces of work go depending on the region you're in. Because I would see people in New York and DC moving quickly. I mean, they're the first ones to wake up. I won't say the first ones to wake up, but I say the first ones to clock in.
Yep.
And the stock market is already going at what 9:30 Eastern time. Meanwhile, it's 8:30 here and was 6:30 in California.
Yep.
So it's like they set the trend, for the rest of the country, in a sense. And seeing it in Fort Worth, it's kind of like, man, it was fun, just being at the firm. But that was something that just clicked inside of me. I think I was 22, 23, and knowing I wanted to go to law school. This time I was, studying for the LSAT, and it's a horrible test. I think every lawyer will back me. Every lawyer and law student and current aspiring law student will back me up on that the LSAT is a horrible test. But yeah, I was studying for that test, man, and got whatever score I was satisfied with, applied, and got into a number of schools. Honestly, I wanted to stay in Texas. It was kind of like, I've been working at this firm. I've been making contacts in Texas, just stay in Texas. And I applied to, what schools did I apply to? I mean, obviously, I applied to Texas Southern, Thurgood Marshall in Houston.
Yep.
And I think I applied to, I applied to SMU up here, and I applied to UNT Dallas. Yeah, I want to,
Okay.
apply to the Dallas schools, and then I also have a Houston school because it's Houston. I went to Sam Houston. It's close enough. And long story short, I got into all three, but third grade, send me the most money, man. So you
Yes,
gotta go
sir.
where the best check is, man.
Yes, sir.
And it was great. I met my fiance there. I remember we met on the first day. The first, I don't know if it was orientation, maybe.
What?
Yeah, yeah,
How'd this go down? I want to hear it.
yeah. This was it's funny, man. I mean, it's like, what was this, 2015, and we, it wasn't like, I guess you would say, a meeting as you would see on TV, kind of like, she drops a book, the guy comes over and picks it up, and it's like, hey, what's your name? It wasn't like that. But it was, I remember there was a person that, she wanted to purchase books from or something along those lines. And I was, just sitting in that same area, but I remember seeing her, and, it's like I see something, I see her, and then it's like, okay, I'm here to focus on books. It's like, okay, let's get back focused. And we didn't have
But
any.
we're men.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm sure she'll hear this, and she'll laugh because that's very accurate. Yeah, so I don't. Yeah, she didn't see me at all. To my knowledge, she didn't see me. So I saw her, and I didn't see her, I think, until, like, I think the next semester, maybe. It may have been a while, but when you're in law school, man, it's like you're so locked in to whatever.
Sure.
If you treat it the right way, you're so locked in to where you really don't have time to just, like, fool around, like,
Yeah.
just because you get 3 years. There's a lot of, like, law school is a lot of money. I don't know if anybody knows that, but
Oh, I'm sure.
it's a lot. But anyway, so the way we met, that was, just kind of like we didn't say hi and bye to each other. So next semester comes around, and we had these lockers. I mean, it sounds like high school, but seriously, we had these law school lockers next to each other. And she asked me, hey, are you from Houston? And I looked at her just with the meanest face you can think of. I mean, you can just think of the Houston Dallas beef,
Yep.
And it's like, what
What
about
did you just
me?
ask me?
Yeah, what about me gives you Houston? Because no, I have this Mavericks hat, like, just right here for a reason. So, yeah, so she asked me that, but she didn't know, and I understand, and I just said, no, I'm, from Dallas. Why do you ask? I had to clean it up. Why do you ask? And then she said, oh, I didn't know, and then, of course, now we met, we talked, and from then on, it's kind of like we just kept talking, at the lockers, and we had, a couple classes. I think after that initial conversation, and then, of course, time builds on. We study together, go on some dates, and boom. So
That's
yeah,
awesome.
and now,
That's awesome.
getting married in 2 months, man. So
Ooh, that's exciting. Where
yeah,
at?
yeah, in Austin, it's there.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
dope.
You know what? This is I'll text you.
Oh,
Yeah,
hell yeah.
yeah.
Hell yeah,
I
that's
can't go into
awesome.
any details,
Sure,
but
sure,
yeah,
sure, sure, sure. No, that's great, dude. That's super exciting, man. And everything happens for a reason. I fully believe in that. I think everything happens for a reason. Like,
yeah.
what's
We joke about that too. I said, I always
what's the
ask,
chances
like,
of y'all's lockers being next to each other or like
next to each
close to each
other.
other? Like, what? Like, you see this girl in the bookstore where you're like, "Ooh, she cute," and then next thing you know, y'all got lockers next to each other. Like, what? What? That's a
Yeah,
movie. We're writing a movie. I'm gonna
yeah.
write a movie about Brian King. I'm doing it.
Do it, man. Do it.
like,
No,
like
yeah, yeah.
that's crazy.
And we always joke about, like, what are the odds? Like, um, even thinking about how the school that, we chose. It's kind of like, you just can't make this stuff up. I mean, because I think, she was actually thinking about going to a school out of state.
So
You
she's from
know,
Texas as well.
yeah, yeah.
She from Houston?
Well, she's from Houston.
Ah!
Yeah, yeah. So, it worked out in my favor to say, no, I'm not from Houston, because, I mean, she's seen Houston, man.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
yeah. So
Houston's something else, man. Houston's a wild spot. Like, we were there We were there for the Western Conference Finals when the Rockets played the Warriors. When
You were there. I went to game
yeah,
1.
I was at game 1,
Oh, get out.
bro. What? I
Yeah.
was at game 1.
Wow. Wow.
Dude,
All
I got
right.
my shirt stolen, bro. So you know how they had the shirts on all the seats?
Talk about the red one, the red
Yeah,
HOU.
yeah, my shirt
Wow.
got
Yeah.
stolen, bro. So here,
I
okay,
burned
so
mine. I'm joking. I'm joking.
that'd have been awesome though. No, so we're there. We have pretty good tickets. So my friend hit a $13,000 sports bet, and so he took us to the game.
Okay.
And we have pretty decent tickets. Maybe I don't know, whatever. They were decent. They were decent.
I mean,
And
any ticket in that game,
oh, bet
yeah,
that's a
you paid
fact.
a good
You're right.
price.
You're right.
Yeah.
That any ticket would have been a great ticket. Dude,
Nope.
I think about this. Man, dude, when I think about this game, the
Mm-hmm.
amount of talent that was on the court at one time that we got to witness live, like it still blows my mind. And this
You
was
gotta
what,
name the people, just
dude?
for those that don't follow.
Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, Kevin Durant, James Harden, PJ Tucker. Was Chris Paul there?
Paul was there. I had on a Chris Paul shirt.
Chris Paul.
This was not voluntary. I want to
Yeah.
make that public.
Ah,
I did not have a Houston Rockets shirt.
dude, me either. And that's how my shirts got stolen. Um,
Yeah.
and Chris Paul, Trevor Ariza, Clint Capella.
Yeah.
Dude,
All of
just
these guys were healthy. They were
all
healthy.
of them. It was so amazing. That was the finals that year. Like
Mm-hmm.
that was it. Like, and going to game 1 was a huge deal. And so we're there, and I don't have a dog in the fight. I'm there to watch the talent. I'm there to watch. I'm there to cheer for James Harden when he shoots a 3, and I'm there when Kevin Durant was just wetting people from mid range that game. He was
Yeah.
on fire, and so we're there. We're cheering for both sides. We're like, yeah, every time someone scores, we're just cheering, dude. We're having a good old time, bro. And
That's great.
at the end of the game, this dude comes and just snatches the shirts off our shoulders. He's like, y'all don't deserve them, and just ran the other way, dude, like a little bitch.
Oh man. Yeah.
It just ran the other way. Like it was a grown ass man.
That's
It was crazy.
that sucks, man.
I wanted that shirt.
Yeah, no matter what, it's like you were there. That's the thing. You
Yeah,
paid good money. The shirt is a part of the experience.
exactly. I wanted
It's
the
like a ticket
shirt, man.
stub.
Yeah,
I
I
get it.
wanted the shirt. I wanted to say like I wanted something to show that I was there. All I got is some pictures on my phone now. I don't have a physical, tangible thing, and so I was a little upset.
You know what's cool? Before you
But
lose your thought,
go for it. Go for it.
on my IG, if you look at, I don't know if they're still up there, the archive, but within I have pictures inside the stadium. That's game 1.
Ah, bet.
Yeah,
Okay.
so you might be able
I'll check it
to
out.
relive it.
Yeah. I have some pictures on my Instagram too. From pictures that we took there. And then another game that I got to go to is I went to the Denver Nuggets Spurs round 1
Mm.
game. I think it was game 1. Not Jamal Murray. Who's the guy that plays for the Spurs, the younger cat? This was maybe like 3 years ago. Light-skinned dude, point guard.
It wasn't George Hill, was it?
No, not George Hill. No, it was a young cat.
In the old man.
I know, dude. Spurs. Hold on, I'm Googling it. 2019.
Oh, was it
DeJounte
Patty?
Murray.
Oh, Murray. Okay.
Dude, he went off for, I want to say he dropped like 50 points that game. Like he snapped. He snapped. It was maybe, I don't know if it was 50. Someone might fact check that, but he snapped. That's all I remember. He snapped.
Mhm.
It was a good time, dude. And I still have that shirt. And I'm not a Spurs fan, but it was cool to have the shirt. So I
Yeah.
was a little salty about that dude stealing our shirts. And I'm also a little mad that he didn't stand around. Like he stole them and ran like a little bitch. Like I was pissed.
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
damn, we could have settled this. We could have handled this like adults.
Yeah.
And
I'm pretty
Go
sure
for
it doesn't matter. I mean, it's just like no matter what, he cursed the Rockets. We'll just put it that
No, he
way.
did. I said the same thing. He did.
Yeah.
I was like, you're the reason they lost game 7. You're the reason why Chris Paul couldn't play. It's your fault. I hope you're happy for those 2 extra shirts. Because he stole mine and another my dude that was with me. He stole both of them off our shoulders, man. Because
Wow.
we had them just like flipped over,
Yeah, just on the shoulder.
Yeah, and this dude just weep and then me, bitch. So that's crazy that you were there. That's nuts. Small world, man. And
Yeah.
speaking of grown man tantrums, so this is a complete side note, but
All right, let me buckle up my seatbelt.
yeah, dude.
Let's go.
Yesterday, this grown ass man in his 50s. So he bought a couch. Comes with 2 pillows.
Okay.
He only got 1 pillow. This dude came into the store with the 1 pillow that he did get, came into the store and threw a fucking fit. A whole fit about 1 pillow. So I don't know how shortages have affected your field. However, in most fields, especially in sales, there's a shortage of everything. No one can get cars. We can't get computer parts. We can't get furniture. We can't get mattresses. Can't get nothing right now. There's no labor. There's a shortage on parts. There's all of it, just all added up. And it's just hit us all at once. I got stuff that's out till next March. And
Okay.
and so this guy comes in and throws a fit over a pillow. Bruh, you are lucky the couch got delivered. And you're upset about 1 pillow? Like, bro, there is people who are here in Austin or in Dallas or in Houston right now who have moved here from New York, California, wherever, Washington State, who have had an empty apartment, empty house for months. No fridge, no washer, no dryer, no furniture, and you're complaining about 1 pillow? This dude threw a whole fit, bro. I couldn't believe it. He's a grown-ass man and just threw a fit about 1 pillow.
He definitely has something else going on at home.
You have to.
I think so.
You have to, right? You don't.
It's not the pillow.
Who does that, right? Who does that?
It's not just the pillow, man.
And and then we hear people like, oh, like another side note. Freaking today there was this lady who bought something in her house. It's in her house. She's not happy with it. We're allowing her to switch it to a different set. And then she was upset that the new set couldn't get delivered in time for her party. But yet she has a couch there now. And so my manager was like, but you have a couch right now that's usable, right? And she was like, yeah, but the color. I'm about to have a party. Like, bitch. Oh, like.
I see. Yeah.
It's crazy, man. There's real stuff going on right now. Some people who are just so out of touch with reality. It's just so crazy. Like, this is the worst news you heard all day.
It's a lot of times I think about that. I check out the news just about every night. Whether it's local, I'll just say local news, just see some cool stuff going on. But of course, as you said, social media has its pluses and its negatives. Same thing with the news. I'm pointing at my TV. Same thing with the news that we'll see something great, but then an Uber driver just 2 miles from me is shot and robbed in the morning. And it's like, as you said, I wish a pillow was just the least of somebody, that person.
Right. I bet you that guy was like, damn, I wish I only got delivered 1 pillow.
Yeah.
Damn.
He's still living, by the way. Yeah.
Hey, I'm good. I'm glad, man. Yeah, he ain't complaining about no pillow. It's just, again, it goes back to perception. It goes back to perspective, perception. If the worst news that you heard today is that the kid's store is 10 minutes from here and not this store that you just drove to, if that's the worst thing you heard all day, you're doing very well. You're doing so well, man. There's just, look, man, recently Joe Rogan had a girl on his podcast who was a refugee of North Korea, and she tells stories about North Korea, and it's just like, man, how do you hear these things? How do you hear about how these people are living in some of these countries and this is what you're upset about?
Yeah.
Like, this is what you're upset about. Like, you know, just the fact that you have the right to be upset about this is should make you take a step back and be like, oh, damn. I
Yeah,
guess
I
I guess
agree.
that is pretty privileged. Like, and like,
Yeah,
it's just
there's this
crazy, man.
yeah, yeah, to your point, yeah, there's this this documentary. This is like, speaking of food, as we
Okay, okay.
just talked about so
I'm
much food.
down. Hmm.
But there's a documentary on Netflix called High on the Hog, and it focuses on I guess I don't want to call it African cuisine because of course that's a continent, but I'll just say it just focuses on different countries within the continent and the history of
Okay.
just how different dishes were made. But to your point, talking about how we don't really know what other people go through, kind of like what's their perception on things. There's this community, I can't remember exactly what country it's in, but everyone in this community literally lives on the water. And I mean, somebody's hearing this, they're like, oh, okay, that's cool. They probably live, they live on a lake, they live,
No,
next, by a river. It's like,
no.
no, this is, imagine a city underwater, no electricity. There's huts and shacks, just imagine that, shacks and huts dispersed out in this community, and they buy and sell off of the boats, and every family member actually gets a boat. So there's a boat for just a traditional family with a father, mother, and say two kids. Father gets, what to say, husband gets a boat, mother gets a boat, and then the kids share a boat. So you can imagine like three boats per family, and anyone who moves into the community, that's what they get.
Yep.
They gifted boats, and and of course, it's I don't get on a boat. I mean, I think this is the most I've been on a boat in 1 year. I think I broke a record. Just being on boat like maybe like 5 or 6 times this summer,
It's
and
fun. It's fun. It's
just
addicting.
being yeah, and just being on a boat just for recreation is one thing, but out of necessity is different
Oh
you
yeah.
know,
Oh
and just
yeah.
looking at how there's no groceries that are coming in unless you get in the boat. There's no money coming in because you have to trudge, through water for roughly, who knows, 10, 20 nautical miles just to get to shore or land somewhere. So looking at the documentary, it just made me think, man, um, this is going on in 2021 to
Yep.
where they
Yep.
they have to travel so many miles just to get drinkable water. They have to travel so many miles just to get food, just to go to school. I mean, just imagine like you literally boating yourself and your siblings to school. It's it made me appreciate everything that has transpired before today, and I'll just say before the documentary, and then made me think about just when I go about life, be more thankful. What are you complaining about today? Because somebody may not be able to complain about, oh man, I just drank the last Truly.
Right.
It's
Right.
like there's more to life
There's
than the
so
one
much
pillow.
more. There's so much more to life, dude. And speaking to that, so there's people in Cambodia who live the same way, but instead of a boat, they're in barrels.
Oh wow.
So my friend was in Cambodia. She went by herself, which is fucking awesome. Shout out to Olivia. She went by herself, and I might butcher this, but from what I remember from the story is that during the Vietnam War, there was people who fled Vietnam and they went to Cambodia. And after the war, Cambodia didn't want them, and Vietnam wasn't taking them back. And so what they did is there's a body of water, and they allowed those people to stay on this water. Exactly what you're talking about, like living literally on the water. But
Mhm.
she said when she was there was just kids in barrels using whatever they could to, as a row or as like a the hell is that thing called? Well, paddle. Oof.
Yeah, yeah,
Woo!
you're
Paddle.
good.
Using whatever they could for a paddle, and they live on the water, literally. And like you said, man, there's just so much more to life than to be complaining about how you can't get something delivered tomorrow. Like, go do something else. Like, it'll be here before you know it. And second part of that tangent, you were mentioning how that documentary kind of talked about some of the African food. You said your fiance was in DC for a little bit. She gets some of that Ethiopian food. I've
Oh,
heard that is
definitely,
so good up there.
definitely, man. Yeah,
I've heard about
yeah.
it. I've heard about it.
There's a great place. I mean, that, I'm understating DC. There are many great places.
Dude, DC's a dope city, man.
Yeah, many great Ethiopian spots there. And I'll just say, anyone who's going to DC, go to U Street. U Street, I think it's on the. I would say it's by Howard. It's by Howard University. Go to U
Okay.
Street, and you will find great Ethiopian food. Whether it's Dukum restaurant, there's another place called Glow Glow. I may butcher the name. Lalibela. I think it's Glow Lalibela restaurant, but great Ethiopian food. I can't get this stuff in Dallas, so.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know any spots around here like that. I did find a Filipino spot the other day driving to that Korean spot. I was like, dude, there's just so many spots just popping up, man.
Mhm.
Uh, no, but
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
wow,
And sorry, and I got sidetracked. So
we
I
got
know.
sidetracked.
Yeah, no,
We were
no.
talking. We were talking about how you got to to eventually get to your field.
Right. That's what I said. So we
Okay.
talked about meeting the fiance
Yeah.
in
That's
law
where we
school.
got. That's where we left off. Okay.
Yeah, and law school is a monster, but I'm one of those people, man. I love challenges. Like Kobe's one of my Kobe Bryant. I mean, I
Shout
don't even
out.
say his last
Yeah.
name,
Why do you
but
even say Brian? Why you
but
Kobe?
for those who don't know, yeah, Kobe is one of those guys. He is uh major role model
Major.
um, for me, not only as an athlete, but as a professional, and even more so as a family man. As a father and husband, and just how he just carried himself. Man, it's just it's remarkable just to think back on his life. But thinking about that, I had like the Mamba mentality. That's where I'm going with this. And you have to focus. You have to have the goal in mind. If you don't have a goal in mind, it's like, why are you even suiting up on the court or jumping into the boxing ring? Like, if you don't if you don't have a plan to win, I don't even know why you're in the game.
For
You
sure.
know,
For sure.
and with law school, it's like, why are you here? The goal was, prepare yourself to be able to pass the bar exam to get licensed. That's the end goal. At least it was for me. And a lot of people, they get a JD or Juris Doctorate degree, and just practice. I mean, not practice, but they go into different fields, but they don't practice law. If that makes sense. So, as I said before, law school is a monster. There were 3 years that I went through. I say the most fun years I had were definitely my second and third year. And I say that because the jitters, the uncertainty of the first year, the stress, the pressure, just to come back. Because there are some people who literally don't come back just
Oh yeah.
for reasons of stress, family. Um, I mean, just getting sick, man. Just being like, you know what, the law's not for me. I mean, just seeing that happen to so many people, whether it was at my school or other schools. I mean, in Houston, I mean, that's 3 law schools within. I don't know the radius on this, but I would say like a 5 to 8 mile radius. There are 3 law schools next to each other. So just imagine that, the city of Houston is pumping out roughly 300 lawyers a year. And that's not even lawyers. That's more so 300 law students.
Yeah.
300 graduating
Yeah.
law students each year. So, but anyway, just moving forward with my narrative, as you said. The second year, third year, best times. Got past the first year. I had a great time, and this was 2016, yeah, 2017. And during this time, my dad was actually sick, and no one knew. I mean, of course, it's like the immediate family. So it's kind of like, just imagine, you have all of that going on in Dallas, but then you're in Houston, keeping the goal in mind. And so my dad he gets really sick. 2017. This time I took an internship in Austin. It goes back to feeding the political appetite. So I go back to Austin and work a little bit, and I'm getting credit, get school credit for it, and I'm also just getting I guess you call it work credit too,
Okay.
work experience.
Hmm.
And I remember, my dad was in the hospital roughly 2-3 months, and I mean that's a long time,
That's
and
a long time.
yeah, 2-3 months. And I remember, breaking away from work for a little bit and, going, checking on him, seeing how he was. I had no idea the extent of his sickness. My family knew, but I didn't, they let me know, but it's kind of like, Brian, like you see what's going on, but stay focused. And even if you have to, like, because this wasn't said, but I felt the energy is kind of like, even if this is too much for you, like school will be there. Like, the school is not going to grow legs and just like walk away,
Yeah.
you know. And and of course my family just always, they always stress importance of, just family sticking together and everything. So this was, I think, yeah, this is 2017. So Hurricane Harvey happens. I speed forward. Hurricane Harvey happens, man. Crazy time. I end up losing my dad, and I remember talking to him the day before he passed away. And Hurricane Harvey was coming. It's like, hey, you coming to Dallas? And I said, no, I'm staying. Staying in Houston and stuff. And because it was crazy. I mean, it's just like, I could have went to Dallas, but the storm was literally like, it was not safe to get on the road. I put it that way. And after the storm passes away, then I get a call from the family to let me know my dad. I'm just like, this is like, you can't make this stuff up, man. It's just talking to him one day, and then the next day, boom. So going into my second year, what was that? My third. Sorry, yeah, going into my third year was vastly different. I've been getting pep talks my whole life. From imagine from kindergarten, to high school, even Sam Houston, and even like getting the pep talk through law school from my dad. And it's not like as if I never taught. I always talked to my mom too. So having to lean on my mom more, make sure she's good as well, because it's like one of her rocks, is just gone. And I end up just pushing through. I think that, like I said, my third year is like my best year grade wise, for so many reasons. And then finally get out of school and graduate, all that cool stuff. And one thing I did do a lot of was network. That's what I did enjoy, was just meeting different people in different practice areas. I mean, even at this time I'm talking to you, like in that frame of mind, like 2017, 2018, I still had like no idea what I wanted to do, but more importantly, I knew what I didn't want to do. And and I'll just say that just for anybody that is like, oh man, like there's, as you said, there's so many people. I pull up my social media feed. It seems like everybody is doing what they want to do. They're so happy. But I feel like, so many people who get to that point where they're happy doing whatever they're doing currently is because they they realize what they didn't want to do.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Whether they realized it early or they
Yep.
realized it now or they
Yeah.
will realize it later. I think the most important thing is realizing what you don't want to do, and sticking to that. And I really like money. I really like finances. It's not like a greedy person. It's just I like the idea of creating money. Like you can literally create wealth, just kind of out of thin air. I mean, that's why we'll get into crypto,
Yep. Yep.
but it's just like the idea of how my relationship with money has changed so much to where I just look at it. I look at money as an idea. It's not really this. I mean, of course, you have to buy and sell. You have to survive, on it. But it's like, who controls the pricing of things? It's just like the demand of the market, and it's like you can look at money as in like I have to have it. Like I have to literally slave for money, and it's like no, you don't. You
Mhm.
just like money is just a tool that you can buy experiences. You can buy time. I like buying time. That's one thing I really like doing is when you can um, put yourself in a position to where you're literally living for yourself. You're living on your own time. Like you doing this podcast right now. Like there's nobody saying, "Hey, we need you to get off this podcast in two
Yeah.
minutes because
Yeah.
because blah blah blah." So yeah, with money, I mean, it's a necessary tool to get through life. At least this is my perspective on it. But yeah, it's a necessary tool. But I'm not killing myself over $1. You know,
Sure.
I'm just not.
Sure.
And anyway, so that was the finance bug that I was scratching during that time, and kind of like, okay, I know business litigation is a big deal, but I don't want to do just what I can turn on the TV and see what's on, Suits, private practice, whatever other shows there. But that's just too. I hate to say this, but
Basic.
It's too commercial. No. Basic, no, commercial pun intended. Because
Commercial.
it's
Okay.
like
Yeah.
business
I see.
commercial.
My bad. My bad. My bad.
You get what I'm
I
saying?
jumped the gun. I jumped the gun. My bad.
Yeah. And I have friends that are in corporate and they do a great, job. And that's great. And I mean, in a sense, I do business litigation as well. But I I really love the finance aspect of contracts, of as I said before, creating wealth, creating projects. I like how projects get financed or financed if you're in the East Coast. But yeah, I had to learn that little nuance. Man,
Financed.
yeah, finance. So anyway, so I end up just gravitating towards this finance industry, man, and literally it led me into crypto. But when we jump into crypto, I had more to say about that. But
Let's jump into it.
okay, we can jump into it,
Let's
man.
do it.
Yeah, we can jump into it. So the second time, I'll start it that way. The second time I had come across crypto was in it was my third year of law school, and I'm getting out of getting out of school. I already know I love the legislative process. I love politics, and not in the sense of like, oh, this is something great to write about in a newspaper, but just the process. I just like the process. It's just one of those things to where we went from a society of no laws, no rules, and now we actually have a rule. Like there's a rule for like revenge porn. Like if you break up with somebody, you can't just post their nudes
Yep.
online, And it's kind of like just how we, have evolved as a society. And I don't want to get too partisan or anything, but I just love the process of creating laws. I mean, it's crazy. And crypto has its regulations that are in place and that are coming soon. But anyway, yeah, my second time seeing crypto was definitely in law school when I gravitated toward finance. But the first time, I have to go back to my Sam Houston days, and there's this guy. I have to shout him out, man. Mark Washburn. I have no idea what Mark is today, but Mark gave he gave my speech class the best information that anyone could have given in what was that 2012 2011.
Okay. What'd he give?
This was a speech class, so I remember talking about, and it doesn't matter what I talked about because I talked about social media, just how to have a great social media image. Great speech. His speech was great. This man talked about Bitcoin and the digital revolution. And the reason I remember this so vividly is because his speech, it wasn't his delivery. I could care less about his delivery, no offense to Mark, but it was the substance that was in his speech to where after he had given this mini dissertation, I'm dressing it up. He gave this mini lecture on Bitcoin, what it is, what the blockchain is, what all of these terms I'm hearing for the first time. And as I said before, this is very early.
2012.
This is very early.
Yeah.
This is when it was illegal to buy. You had to buy Bitcoin on like what on Silk Road these
Yeah.
days.
Yeah.
And anyway, he gives I know I've already built up the suspense. Anyway, he gives a speech. He sits down, and he was right next to me. This is why I really remember his name. And I lean over. I say, "Hey, Mark, did you just make that up?" And then he's like, "No, dude. Like this is for real." And I said, and then I would just whisper to him. I mean, of course, we're in class. I have to whisper. And I said, "Okay, like, can you just like send me just send me something on Bitcoin. Send me something on blockchain." So he sends me the white paper. I've never read a white paper. It's like I was not in finance.
What is that? What is that for someone who doesn't know?
Yeah. So
Include myself.
a white paper is I would just say in the realm of finance, in the realm of yeah, I'll just stick with finance. When there's a theory, there's like a school of thought that pumps out something. When I say something, it's an idea that touches on the industry in a way that will bring about progress or bring about a suggestion where we should go. Basically, a suggestion on where we need to go um, in a particular way dealing with a financial transaction. So just say with the white paper, what is it? What is it? Like angel investing or
Okay.
venture capital. Like there are white papers on that. If you're familiar with law review papers, or if you're familiar with like the Harvard Business Journal.
Mhm.
So just imagine like the Harvard Business Journal, someone may write a profound article, and the article is so widely adopted that there needs to be a white paper for it. And what the white paper does, as I said before, it gives people a roadmap on a theory that can be likely adopted or whatever. It's just debated. It literally becomes debated
Okay.
within that school of finance, and they look at the white paper to just say, you know what, this is not a bad idea. And this is just for blockchain. I'm talking about this one. People looked at the Bitcoin white paper and said, and when I say people, these are experts in the finance industry. They looked at the white paper and said, "Man, this dude or this person, whoever it was, I mean, I don't know if you heard the name Satoshi Nakamoto,
Yeah, yeah.
um,
Mhm.
but Satoshi Nakamoto was the the author of the white paper. It's a white paper with no identity. It has an identity, but it doesn't at the same time. So people didn't know, is this a joke? Like, is this some sick joke? And when the experts actually, read the white paper, I read the white paper, didn't understand it on first glance. I've probably read that white paper maybe 30 times, man. And what it did is that it gave a roadmap on peer-to-peer transactions to where you and I have banks. I don't want to name just banks, but I'll just say you have the Bank of Topo Chico and I have the Bank of Truly.
Okay.
And there's a transaction. Let's just say I want to sell you a bottle of water. Yeah, just say your grocery store. I am a manufacturer of water, and anyway, I sell you that. So you purchase the bottle of water from me. So and you write a check. That check has to go through the bank. It's not as if you and I can just do this hand to hand, cash to cash transaction, because there will be a peer to peer transaction. But just imagine exchanging money without it having to go through a middleman, and that's essentially what that white paper says. I basically spoiled it for everybody, but the peer to peer transaction was there. Excuse me. It was modeled after the fact that you and I could have that one deal, but then you can say, oh well, I can say, oh, I didn't get the money from you. Just imagine like you had an agent, give me the money on your behalf, and then I say, oh well, yeah, I don't have a recording of the money that you sent me. And then what happens with that is that there's integrity that's lost within that transaction, because I can charge you twice for something and you wouldn't even know it. Just on the fact that, oh, well, you gave me $30, but who's there to verify it, right? And the way the bank operates is that if you, of course, you write a check to the bank, then the bank, they do their verification. They check to see if this check is legit from the Bank of Topo Chico. Then they present it to my bank, the Bank of Truly. Bank of Truly cashes it out to me, and then notify your bank. But with Bitcoin, we literally can like have our phones up and send money to each other because we trust it. We have that trusted network between each other, and we don't have to have the bank or a middleman to validate our transaction.
And what's the benefit of something like that?
Now, the benefit of that is not only faster payments, because I think a lot of people, just in case that the previous like 2 or 3 minutes went over someone's head, it's okay. It's okay. The benefit of this is that if there is a charge to your account, so just say you go to a car wash and you get charged $10, and you get charged $10, but there's a monthly fee. So you instead of getting the one-time payment, you did the monthly for like $40 a month, but you want to cancel it. So just imagine when you try to dispute the transaction, it takes what, 10 days, 15 days. Or with Bitcoin, if that transaction doesn't match up, because I would say that if the transaction is not something that you wanted initially, you don't have to enter into the transaction for one. But then for two, if there's a mistaken transaction, or if the address that you're sending Bitcoin to is the incorrect address, then it immediately denies that transaction. So it's not as if the employer gets paid for something and then they have to credit you something back. It's as if the transaction never happened. And and that's more so blockchain talk. But I can take time to talk blockchain, to talk Bitcoin. But just right now, we're just talking about how the white paper was written, and just how you can have faster transaction times. You can avoid the banks. Um, there are a lot of things that talk about, taxes, and uh, I don't want to use that word evasion. I would say tax avoidance. So there's ways that you can avoid taxes within that peer-to-peer transaction that was talked about. But now, I mean, they're addressed now, due to the regulations. But as I said before, this helps, or this has helped the transaction time. I mean, I don't know the numbers, but what it's taken roughly, just say 5 days to a week. I mean, just imagine a wire transfer of $1 million. Right now, I could transfer $1 million of Bitcoin to another crypto wallet in less than 1 minute. And you have wire transfers that they say, oh, banks that say, oh, you can't transfer more than $25,000 a day. You have to have a business account, to transfer
Yeah.
more than $50,000 a day or even a week, and it's capped off. But then if you have money in cryptocurrency, I'm just using Bitcoin as an example. If you have money in a wallet, in a crypto wallet, and just say, as I said before, it's $1 million, I can literally send you $1 million, and of course there may be a fee attached to that, but we're talking what, like $5? So, and that's the thing, the fees are low.
Yeah.
The fees are extremely low to send money over the blockchain, and and let me clarify, over the Bitcoin blockchain. And when we send, and like I said, I send that $1 million to you. Yeah, I mean, you may end up with, $999,995, but that's better than 700,000 if I have to send this to you through Chase,
Yeah.
Wells
Yeah.
Fargo.
Yeah.
And it gets that to you the same day, if not within the same hour, or if not within the same 10 minutes, as opposed to 3 days or 5 days, because the bank operates on business days, and then they have to check and verify everything, and the bank doesn't work on the weekends. But if this was a Saturday, you and I, we could do this right now. Honestly, I can send you $1 million right now over Bitcoin, over the blockchain. It's crazy. And when I say crazy, I mean it's groundbreaking for the financial industry.
And so, okay, so we've kind of dabbled in this before. We kind of talked crypto. You've kind of helped me out a lot with kind of what to invest in, how to invest. Where do you see all this going? What is the next step? So we kind of saw a pretty big regression on Bitcoin. It was pretty bullish for shit, dude. The first half of this year, we saw crazy jumps. And then it's regressed since a little bit. Elon, Tesla kind of retracking the Bitcoin thing, them talking about how not good for the environment, so on and so off. We kind of seen that regress, and then in the last week, boom, it's back.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
where do you see all this going?
yeah. So I have to build up. To that. So like I said,
Go for it. The
what I
floor
see.
is
So
yours.
so I'll answer the question first. Where I see this going, it, it's great. It's great. I'll put it that way. There's a reason why you go to stores and they say there's a coin shortage.
Hmm.
We're talking physical coins. We're not, we're talking pennies, dimes, nickels, quarters. There's a coin shortage and coin short. Sorry, I almost said coin. It's funny, and and pretty soon there may be a dollar short. Who knows? But where I see it going is that I would say digital currency is here to stay. Um, one of the that's there are countries that are already adopting this, adopting digital currency. Most recently, Bitcoin is a legal tender, in the country, and other states, I mean, other countries are looking to, if not make it a legal tender as the dollar. I mean, they actually have it on the same level as the U.S. dollar, and their country's currency. Yeah, other countries, they're incorporating it on their books. So if they're not making it legal tender, they're purchasing cryptocurrency to hold on, accounting books. I mean, you just imagine. I'm going back. This is the thing. I'm going back to the political science class, the budget and public policy class. When I think about that class, and then I think about now, the knowledge that I have with cryptocurrency and just digital currency. I like calling it digital currency, honestly. But I see how countries and states are putting this on their budgets, and now once you get the government to adopt this, it's not going anywhere, and the government's already adopting it. And I mean, I hate to, I'm kind of talking in circles, but it's here to stay. Honestly, it's here to stay. And the part I wanted to lead up on, I'll address that now, is that a lot of people, hear cryptocurrency. I mean, I'm sure they're familiar with Dogecoin, familiar with, I mean, of course, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Cardano, Ripple, you name them, Litecoin, Pancake Swap. I mean, I can go on and on. But there's a difference between coins and tokens.
Okay.
And this will literally, like, whoever listens to this, they will be light years ahead of all of the newbies, because even right now, Bitcoin, I have like a little ticker over here. Like, Bitcoin is at $47,584 right now, and as you said, I think it touched roughly what, like 67K,
Yep.
68K,
Yeah, and it was just
May.
18,000 like a week ago.
Yeah, yeah. So the the resistance level is it's interesting. I mean, we're going into a weekend. Who knows? I mean, a lot of people are getting paid this week. I mean, it's 15th, the middle of the month. It's coming up. So
Yep. Yep.
some more people might buy it. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Bitcoin touches 50, and then drops back down, right after this weekend. But the difference between the coin and token, I do want to touch on that. With coin, and I'm starting with this for a reason. Coins are those cryptocurrencies that are derived from the blockchain. And I have to repeat that. So a coin that comes off of that actual blockchain, like that's literally a coin. And other people may, recognize it as, when I do Bitcoin mining, or I mine on a blockchain, I'm rewarded Bitcoin. Well, that's because people are mining on the Bitcoin blockchain. Like, people get rewarded Ethereum because they mine on the Ethereum blockchain. Same thing for Cardano. Same thing for Binance.
And I
All
think
of those.
we should explain mining. So essentially, or at least my understanding, mining is
Yeah, yeah, that's
essentially
fine.
like a supercomputer solving high-level mathematical equations.
Yeah, yeah. These are yeah, these are what I like to call, like the nerve center of transactions. And just imagine going into a basement, or where IT, hides out, and you just see this warehouse full of computers. Those are literally blockchain computers.
Yeah.
And when it comes to mining, a lot of these miners, I hate to say this, but a lot of miners mine. But what they do is that they oversee transactions. That's what mining is. Mining, excuse me, my Bitcoin mining. I just talking from the frame of reference for Bitcoin. But Bitcoin mining happens when the person or computers, and usually they're in tandem. But when persons and or computers oversee transactions, make sure they go through, make sure there isn't any um, lack of trust. I like using that word because that's literally what Satoshi Nakamoto wanted to do with his white paper. He wanted there to be integrity. He wanted there to be trust. He wanted to X out the middleman because when we have different people verifying transactions, um, it creates this decentralized network. And that's the big word I've been missing. But it creates a decentralized network to where you don't have a central authority figure verifying transactions. You think about a central authority figure, um, we could equate that to the Federal Reserve Bank. You know, a lot of people don't know, but the Federal Reserve Bank is a private entity.
Yep.
It's not
Not
a
ran by the government.
yeah. So imagine, as you said, a private entity verifying transactions, manipulating stuff. And I won't go into more detail because I don't know who's seeing this and I don't want to get in trouble. But that's what Bitcoin, that's what the Bitcoin white paper is about. And when there's a decentralized network, when you have myself, yourself, um, 20,000 other friends just
Ben.
verifying transactions. Yeah, all of us. And when I say verifying transactions, know that I'm saying mining. Just that's in a different. It's just I'm just interchanging the words. So when we mine or verify transactions, we get paid in Bitcoin. So that's where Bitcoin came from. That's where cryptocurrency came from. It wasn't as in somebody just made this out of thin air. It was no. Um, those who mine actually get Bitcoin out of the blockchain. So just imagine if you were mining back in 2011, 2012, you, and I'll say when Bitcoin was what, like 50 cents,
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
dollar, a dollar
Yeah.
50.
Yeah.
Like people would literally pocket, 50 Bitcoins for a transaction. And and I'm sure they're either retired or they sold and they regret it now.
Or they
But
lost it.
oh, they lost it.
And they're
Yeah,
digging in the dumpsters still.
yeah,
They're Go
yeah,
ahead.
and yeah. So with that decentralized network, not having a central authority figure to verify the transactions is very important. And as I said before, Bitcoin has its blockchain, has its own blockchain. Ethereum has its own blockchain. Cardano has its own blockchain. If the cryptocurrency, like if you don't get anything else out of what I just said, maybe
Now,
like
is that all part of like one big blockchain?
no,
So those are all
no,
individual.
no, they're all individual, and I
But
will say
using blockchain technology. Is
right
that okay, okay. I'm
because I will
following.
say that's a big misunderstanding. There's no like the blockchain.
Yeah, okay.
A lot of people like to say the Twitter. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
there's no the blockchain. So there's blockchain technology to where it's a decentralized network, or in other words, there's no central authority figure to verify transactions, which is why we need more people in in cryptocurrency. I'll put it that way, and more so with the cryptocurrency coins. That's the more important thing. As I said before, I'm purposely not diving into blockchain because that's a whole other conversation. But just to know the foundations of blockchain, there's technology. Those who mine and verify transactions on blockchain technology are rewarded with cryptocurrencies.
We need to do one, me, you, and Ben, and we'll talk just blockchain.
Yeah. It's amazing. So yeah, yeah. That's great. Yeah, I'll make sure I don't overstep too much, but I'll say
Yeah, I mean, we
foundationally.
can talk about it now. I mean, I'm good either way.
Yeah.
Uh,
Okay.
it's just that would be a fascinating one because I know that you had watched that episode and you commented on it
Oh, I love that
about
episode.
about how
Yeah.
he was talking about how it would just change health records.
Oh, it does. And since we're on it, there's so many use cases for it. I realized I was mentally ahead of I would just say I was on par with those who look at the same thing I look at. I don't want to say I was mentally ahead. And what I asked somebody because the idea that Ben brought up is what I want to say that's what blockchain is being used for right now. If not, if it hasn't been already, I mean, it definitely should be, especially for medical records. But even for school records, I mean, there's schools that have closed down, and some people can't get their transcripts.
And
You know,
let's recap that for someone who hasn't listened to that episode,
oh,
or
sorry. Go
someone
ahead. Go
who
ahead.
maybe, oh well, no, I would prefer if you did. I would be just talking straight out of my ass. Um, so yeah. So if you can kind of explain a little bit what he was talking about in that episode.
Yeah. It's been a while since I saw it, but what I remember taking away from his episode was that I mean, he's great, great a way of articulating how there's this need for health records to be um, preserved, preserved correctly. I'll put it that way. So correctly and efficiently, because you have human error, and I'm paraphrasing, but I'll just say you have a lot of human error that can happen, and when you have either human error or human manipulation on people's records, I will say there have been some stories and articles I've read about people having their medical records say they contracted COVID, but they really didn't get COVID. It was something else, but it was just to pump up numbers. But I'll just say that's what I read. It's not what I know. And just imagine if that is, or if that was human manipulation or human error um, on somebody's medical records, that could be manipulated in some way. But if it's stored on a blockchain or stored on blockchain technology, that would be that person's medical record forever. But more importantly, as Ben had mentioned, medical records should be available for the customer or for the patient. I put it that way. The patient, like you and I, should be able to schedule, uh, if we need a surgery schedule or anything, Sunday, and the doctor say, hey, send me your medical records when you can. I mean, usually no one's, no patient hears that from the doctor. But just imagine if we actually could own our medical records as an NFT, and that's another thing.
What's an NFT?
Non fungible token. it's This is another blockchain thing, man. Um, I'll address it. I'll address it after this. Just please remind me. Please write it down.
Okay.
But just imagine owning our own medical records as a digital document. I'll put it that way. And it's it's a digital document that only we can retrieve. Like no one else can get into it. And that's it goes back to Bitcoin with wallets. No one can get into your wallet except you.
Dude, I got the paper to my left right now. The password is wrong.
It's supposed to be.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's supposed to be, man. And we'll get into wallets too. I'm writing this stuff down to the side.
Yeah. Have you seen the show Startup on Netflix?
Yeah, I love that show.
So the writing is a little but the overall plot I really enjoy.
Yeah, the plot. I mean,
I really enjoy the plot. Some of the stuff, the timeline, the plot, it's a little all up. But anyways, I'm a critic. My bad. But nonetheless, the plot, the main story of the show is really cool about Coin, about how they fully believe in this coin, how it's going to help bring, I guess, like kind of like connectivity, kind of to areas that are either lower income areas or areas that are being neglected, things like that. It gives them an opportunity to like you said, create this wealth. And sorry, that was just I was just seeing if you had seen it, because I was gonna say this is right up your alley. It's right up your alley.
Yeah. I've fallen off, but I definitely, I mean, I started back. I mean, I'm a lawyer, man. I'm always doing something.
Sure.
Yeah, but speaking to the medical records, and I'm going to go into the other ways we can use blockchain. But yeah, to Ben's point, um, just imagine having our wallet, or if not a wallet, just imagine a digital folder, and that digital folder can have our medical records in there. It can have lease documents, like not even lease. I didn't mean to say lease. I meant to say lien documents.
Okay.
Just say if you have a lien, somebody has a lien on your home or blah blah blah. Or just say you purchase your house outright and you have a deed. You can have the deed to your house in a digital document in that folder. And the way blockchain technology works, as we've talked about, is that only you have access to it. It is secure. I mean, we haven't talked about the security of blockchain technology,
Yeah.
but
So
we
let
talked
me
about it. Mhm.
um okay, let me try to put this into layman terms real quick. This is kind of, I guess, my understanding of what you're saying right now.
Go
So
ahead.
essentially, a benefit of what you're talking about is if you could have that deed in a digital form, if you could have that in your crypto wallet, essentially you would be able to have access to that a lot quicker. Like you wouldn't have to call that person and be like, "Hey, I need this." Like when you go to sell a car, you wouldn't have to call someone to transfer the title of your car to that next person. You would essentially be able to do that yourself. Is that a good summarization of, or a good kind of,
Now, I'll say it can be that way, but I'll
okay.
just say, especially when you talk transfer title, my legal wills go crazy. And with that, since transferring title is more so of a government function, I'll put it that way. This is why the government should use blockchain technology. Because imagine if just say the DMV, Department of Motor Vehicles, uses blockchain technology, if they're not already doing it, and they have I don't know how they would do it, but I'll just say they have a digital folder, and there's access only for the DMV. They can get into the folder and they can look to see that this is a legitimate title of whatever vehicle. And yeah, I mean, of course, as a government function, you would want people to still go use the government. I think we still need to have that interaction. Um, but just imagine, instead of doing a lot of searching on the internet, paying, just extra fees for filling out paperwork. I mean, just imagine paying a one-time fee to retrieve title that's literally sitting on a blockchain network, and then you don't have to worry about this title getting lost, because there's some counties who still use hard copy deeds. They still use hard copy title forms for vehicles. So of course, everybody. I wouldn't expect every county to be able to afford this, but I think in a sense of like, if it can happen, this would be a great tool to use, because now, instead of deeds, and I'm toning down the legalese on some of this stuff, but I'll just say, instead of a mortgage deed to a house, or just say a real estate contract just for a home, instead of that contract being like um, kept in the hard copy form, and you keep it under your desk, then the home burns down. Now who has the record? Like, what was actually in that deed? What was transferred? And just assume that no one actually filed the deed, in the county. So it's kind of like, with that deed, with that folder being available not only for a government sector, but also for the private individual, you can burn up all the paper you want in the house. As long as you have a digital wallet that has your most important documents, even a will. Just imagine someone passes away, like my dad. Just imagine, um, my dad's will was destroyed somehow, but we had it on a digital folder. Now it's kind of like, hey, we still have the digital folder. We just need the password, but you know that's the only thing. But it lets the court know, and I'm still talking about the will, it lets the court know that, hey, this is a valid will. This hasn't been manipulated. This was Mr. King's actual will. This was in his digital wallet. So the pathway of just going to like make things digital is great, but what's even greater is where you can have the security. And that goes to the practice of law that I do, which is data privacy. I'm all about protecting people's data. So with blockchain, when you can protect, to Ben's point, medical records, when you can protect uh, deeds to houses, title to vehicles, wills, uh, immunization records. I don't know if that goes into medical records, but academic records, anything. Just imagine not having to ask your college for a transcript because you already have it in a digital folder. Because some people may not take they may not take a hard copy, but just imagine you can give them a blockchain certified transcript. I mean, there's so many, and I mean, we're just touching the surface really with blockchain technology. This is something, as I said before, it's going to be here like ever.
From here on.
Yeah, it's going to be here, man, forever. Yeah.
And so what are some of the things that you're most excited to see it used for?
As a finance guy that I told you about, I'm interested in, and this is not like, I guess, like an ultimate thing I would like to see, but I'll just say a major thing that I would like to see get done is on the New York Stock Exchange. They do a lot of things electronically, but it's still data entry, like by hand.
Okay.
And just imagine if you could, or just say the New York Stock Exchange could have a record of everyone's, puts, calls, sell, buy orders, just on their blockchain. I know this would be a lot of data, but when you have a lot of securities fraud, when you have a lot of insider trading that goes on, it's easy to track it down. And that's me talking from more of an enforcement perspective. But then on the flip side, in the private sector, if I'm representing somebody like Goldman Sachs or something, Goldman Sachs or Carnegie Mellon, whoever, that's a school. I'm sorry, it's another bank, Mellon. But anyway, if you represent one of those great banks, on the East Coast, they're more so interested in how do we use this for our benefit, of course. But now, instead of fulfilling so many orders and kind of like just letting people just do their insider trading and stuff, how can we keep ourselves out of that line of fire? So with that, instead of just saying like, oh guys, we're still retail, we do retail investments, we do investment services for big fish, little fish. Just let everybody know that, hey, your trades will be recorded on a blockchain ledger.
Yeah, because if we've seen anything this year, we kind of seen the manipulation of the stock market with GameStop, AMC.
Yeah.
Some of these big names that just were doing things that they shouldn't have done.
Yeah, and it's harder to track it now. It is. But when you have something along those lines, I mean that can help out a court to just see how many people, I guess you could say, receive that phone call or receive that email that said, "Hey, buy now," sell now.
Yeah.
And yeah. So it's so much that can happen. But I would say, yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. A lot of this stuff goes way over my head.
It's okay, man. It's okay.
I don't,
because we're talking use cases. See, that's the thing. We're
okay.
talking blockchain use cases, but I mean, like I said, we can drive it back in, to the crypto talk.
Okay, let's I don't know. I just Ben tried to explain a lot of this to me, and I don't fully grasp it, but I'm also a moron.
No,
so
you're fine. You're
it's
fine. The learning curve is crazy. Mind
yeah.
you, as I told you, the first time I heard about this, I was a skeptic. I will say I was a Bitcoin skeptic when my friend gave that speech. And excuse me, and even when I read the white paper, I mean, my eyes were glazed over, and I think I read it maybe 4 or 5 times, and then I just, I'm like, I can see how this is a big deal, but
Yeah.
yeah, and
And now here you are. a huge, like this is something that you talk about a lot. You talk about this a lot on Twitter. Like this is
Mhm.
something that we've talked about a lot. You've helped out a lot. Like this is something that you're definitely very passionate about.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I apologize. I know I talked about the coins, but now I can get to
The
the
tokens,
tokens
yeah.
because just imagine an umbrella that says cryptocurrency, and then you have token, you have coin. So we've talked about coin. So remember, coin has its own blockchain, but tokens. This is where I always tell people to be careful because tokens are pancake swap, Dogecoin.
Yeah.
Um, it, I don't know if you ever heard the term USDC. Like
Uh, um,
it's
I've
basically it's
seen
the
I've seen it on the apps.
the United. It's one of those you see. You're just like, oh no, I don't want to buy
Yeah.
that
But that,
one.
isn't that the one that just stays at $1?
Yeah, that's literally
Like,
yeah.
are they
They're
called
back.
tethers? Tether?
They're backed by the dollar.
Okay. And those are called like tethers or no? Or is
Yeah.
that something else?
Um. Yeah. Yeah. It's the same thing.
Ooh, look at
Tethering.
me. Okay, point
No,
for
you're good. You're
20.
good. So what's important to know is that, and I tell everybody, Bitcoin is the boat that like lifts everybody else up. I don't know
Yes.
if you want to call it a boat, but I'll just say Bitcoin is the godfather. Like
Yeah, yeah.
that's just it.
Everything goes as Bitcoin because Bitcoin was down last week. Bitcoin has now surged. Everything else has followed.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. And with tokens, yeah, that's where I'm going with this. Yeah, with tokens. Sorry. I mean, I'm looking at the price. The price went up a little bit, man.
Yo, they're getting excited.
But yeah, with tokens, man, you have to be careful because Dogecoin. I'm sure it started as a joke. I mean, it was so ridiculous, and I'm taking a position on this. I'm not saying it outwardly, but you can get it. Oh, that's a nice dog.
Thank you.
Um,
Thank you.
but
She's losing her shit over here.
uh, but I'll say, yeah, with tokens, you have Dogecoin hype, you have Pancake Swap hype. I mean, you have so much hype. One of my cousins, I don't want to add him, but yeah, he called me and said, "Hey man, do you know about this coin? Do you know about Pancake Swap?" And all I could tell him was, "Dude, just be careful.
Yeah,
Spend your money however you want to spend it, but every wave is not meant to be ridden. Like it's really not."
sure, sure.
And
Yeah, I kind of messed up with the Doge one. I kind of messed up. Yeah, yeah,
it's
yeah.
okay. It's okay. But anyway, so the main point is that tokens don't have a blockchain. Tokens are on other blockchains.
Okay.
So if just say Doge is on the Bitcoin blockchain, that may be a benefit. And the reason I say if is because a lot of the programmers or the founders of these tokens move to different blockchains. So imagine you can have a token on the Ethereum blockchain today, and then it can move to Cardano's blockchain tomorrow,
Okay.
and that
A-
influences prices.
And what does that do? Like what is I guess what's the downfall of that? Because it sounds like this is kind of a negative connotation. So what's the downfall of something being like, I guess, is it less stable?
Yes, yes, you have, well, because then you essentially create different tokens.
Okay.
And now it's like, man, you have to think about, well, is this? I mean, and Doge is not like that, but I'll say, with certain
But
tokens,
some of these other ones,
yeah, some of these other ones that are just out
Shiba.
out of the blue, like, yeah, I wasn't gonna name anything, but yeah,
Oh, my bad. Whoop.
now you can.
I
But
didn't mean to at them. But
I'll just say, this, some coins, yeah, I mean, they pop up. Some are not even on. Um, they're not backed on blockchains.
yeah.
But that's why I say it's just do your research. That's the best thing I can say is do your research. And I'm not going to be one of those gatekeepers that say do your research, and then I just go and take like the whole library
Yeah.
with me.
I know one
But
that a lot of people have been, at least some people that I follow, some prominent business figures. A lot of them are on this safe moon trend.
Safe Moon is good. Yeah.
Yeah, so a lot of people have been on this one, but I know that the process to buy it is a little bit longer than what most people want to do, or at least that's what I've heard or seen. I've kind of read a little bit about it, but I know a guy, Corey Gregory. He used to own Muscle Farm,
Hmm.
and he's pretty big into crypto. And then one of the big ones that he's like kind of speaking about is SafeMoon in particular. Is that a
Okay.
token or
Okay.
a coin?
Definitely a token.
Okay, so a
I,
token
I
as
hate to
well.
put it in the token
Yeah,
category,
yeah,
but
yeah.
it really
It's a
is.
token. Okay.
Yeah, and I will say this. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, yeah. And I did say I didn't want to take the library with me, but I almost did. But I'll give some resources that I use just for looking at just news and
Okay.
cryptocurrency and within the Bitcoin space. CoinDesk is one that I highly recommend.
Okay.
I recommend that one for those who love reading articles. I mean, there's articles every day. You will not be bored. Uh, Coin Market Cap is great if I mean, I'm sure if you invested in cryptocurrency, you want to know the prices. So Coin Market Cap is good. It's literally coinmarketcap.com. They do a great job at breaking down so many coins. I mean, honestly, I think it's like top 50 coins that are trading. And keep in mind, there are roughly like 10,000 cryptocurrencies that are out there. I think a lot of people don't know that. I think there's just Bitcoin
No, there's so many now.
and Doge,
Yeah.
and that's it.
Yeah. Yeah, there's so many now. I mean, you just scroll through like Coinbase or any of the apps and you're just like, wow, there's
Yeah,
so many.
yeah, and in addition, yeah, to those two I just mentioned, Coinbase is great. Whether you're online or have it on the phone. Honestly, if you're on the phone, Coinbase is great because you can just go into the app. You can look at kind of the top news, the top stories that are happening, and you also get rewards in different cryptos if you do certain lessons. So just yesterday, I did a lesson on the importance of this token called Compound,
Oh yeah,
and
yeah, yeah. Uh-huh.
I earned like $10 on Compound,
Boom.
but I'm not holding that forever, so I just converted to another. you know, but you can earn crypto rewards that way, and I also use this app called Fold, Fold, and it's a cashback, crypto back rewards card that I use, and I'm a big Uber Eats person.
Yep.
So, um, it hit me when I was like, man, I really get Uber Eats a lot, and I should really take advantage of this. And now I just buy an Uber Eats. I guess you could say like a prepaid gift card or whatever through the app, and then I get crypto back. I forgot at what percent. I think I get like 10% back in crypto or Bitcoin. I get 10% back in Bitcoin, and then it just goes into my
That's a
little.
thing.
Yes, yes. So I mean, if I pay for a $25 gift card, $2.50 of Bitcoin is probably not that big to somebody, you know, just not getting in at 47. But believe me, when Bitcoin was at 9,000 bucks, like that $2 has gone a long way.
Bro,
So
Ryan, I fucked up, dude.
it's not too late.
I had Bitcoin when it was that low.
It's okay. It's okay.
And then I
We
sold at
can't talk
13.
prices. We
I
can't.
know, but it
Well,
hurts.
we can talk
Dude,
prices. We can't talk amounts. We can't
I
talk amounts. Yeah,
I could have retired.
yeah. Yeah, you still
Could have
can.
retired. I
Retirement is a
know.
mindset.
I know I'm about to sell this house. So shoot. Yeah, we gonna have to
Yeah, but
yeah.
it's Fold, Fold, and the app. I have an iPhone. I don't know if it's the same color on Samsung or Droids or whatever, but it's gold with a black F on the front of it. But yeah, I use that. There's other exchanges I use. I know I talked about Coinbase as if it was some publication, but it's like they have a publication, but they're an exchange, so you
Yeah.
can actually purchase crypto on Coinbase exchange. Kraken is one. Bittrex, Binance. I mean, the list goes on. But I'd say for newbies, um, Coinbase is good, but Gemini is really great. And the reason I say Gemini is because the um, the barriers of entry are low, and more importantly, they're FDIC insured. So just in case your crypto, well, I'll just say just in case that exchange is in a lawsuit, just in case Gemini gets in a lawsuit and you can no longer buy or sell on Gemini's um, platform, your crypto is still insured, But now I have to go into the next phase of talking and say this is why it's important to not have your crypto on an exchange, and it stresses the need for a crypto wallet, as we've mentioned. So digital wallets are something that to someone just now entering the space, or you've been in the space and you just leave. I don't want to throw numbers out, but I'll just say you leave a lot of crypto on the exchange. You should definitely think about taking it off and put it into a digital wallet. And the process of that is fairly simple. There YouTube videos for this. Different digital wallets I would recommend. One is called Ledger. Another is called Trezor. It's like Trezor. And there are other wallets out there that you
Euro.
can.
I think the one you had. I think the one. Hold on. Let me see.
And I'll clarify too. The Ledger and Trezor, those are actually hard, like physical wallets. They look like USBs.
Yeah.
And but then if you tech savvy like other people around here, you would just get a digital wallet and have it through an app. So Coinbase actually has a crypto wallet app, and what that does is that it takes it off the exchange, puts it in a Coinbase wallet, and
Stop.
crypto's
Hold
there
on.
in the digital wallet.
Can you say that again? You cut out.
Oh, sorry. So I don't know.
Coinbase was the last thing. Coinbase has a digital wallet, and then you cut out.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, Coinbase has a digital wallet. So what that means is that even just say if you don't have, or you don't want to take the time out to get a cold wallet, as they call it, which is the USB type of wallets, you can get what they call a warm wallet, since that's kind of like in between the hot and cold. So it's a hot wallet if it's on the exchange. It's a warm wallet if it's in the app on your phone, like a digital wallet, and then it's a cold wallet if it's in a form of a USB, like a Ledger or a Trezor. And I'm sure there's some other wallets out there, but as I said before, I mean, it's also a big business space too. I mean, there's so many ways to make money in the crypto space, even if you don't invest.
And so okay, there's a lot of things to touch on right there.
I know it is, man.
Okay,
Yeah, yeah,
first
yeah. You're
thing.
good.
So if you're maybe somebody, me, who has money on an exchange. Now I did put some away, like you told me to. I put some away on the Yoroi wallet.
Oh yeah, so that's
Yoroi.
that's a digital wallet for Cardano. Yeah, you're
Yeah,
right.
yeah. So I put some of my Cardano on there. So I have some there, and then I still have a lot on Coinbase. Is it easy to transfer the Coinbase exchange to the Coinbase wallet? Is that pretty seamless? Like, are they connected to each other? Like,
Yeah, I have it downloaded. I tried it out. Yeah, I tried it out. It's fairly simple. I mean,
okay,
since they're with the same company, they make it easy for you to do so. You probably have to go through some, two-factor
yeah, yeah,
authentication
yeah,
thing, but you know, and even that two-factor authentication, that's blockchain working for you
yeah,
right there.
yeah.
A lot of people don't realize it, but literally, if you have anything that's a two,
Oh, that's fascinating. So like anything, like when you go to log into Twitter
yeah,
or anything
anything
like
that
that.
says 2FA or
Yeah, yeah,
two-factor
yeah.
authentication, that is literally you having your own your own. Just imagine like a password, like a crypto password, getting into your wallet, and imagine your Twitter account is your wallet.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay. Dude, so I mean, there's so much with this, and I think maybe what people would mainly be interested in would probably be the investing side.
yeah. Let's
Um,
talk about it.
like actually investing into this stuff because there's still people to this day who are still super hesitant.
I'm glad. I'm glad they are. This is
Um,
a great time. This is a
okay,
great time to be hesitant.
why do you say that? What do you mean?
I say that jokingly, but serious at the same time because
So you think
I,
this
I'm
is
jo-
you still think this is a great time to get in?
yes, yes. This is
Yes.
why. this is why it's funny to me because
This is still a fire sale.
just imagine. I mean, but then again, it depends on are you looking at the glass half full or half empty?
Okay.
Because 47, it went up again. It's okay, 47,561. This is Bitcoin.
Yep.
Looking at that price, this is our reference point right now, today, at this time. You just said, this thing was $20,000 over this current price like 2 weeks ago.
Something like that, yeah.
And I'm one who said earlier, this is not going anywhere. So it's like, even if I can buy a piece of this, a lot of people don't realize you it's not like stock. You don't buy a whole piece of stock. I mean, sorry, let me back up. When it comes to stock, you have to buy the actual like the actual stock, the actual price of it.
Except on Robinhood, you can buy partial stock, which is odd,
Yeah.
but on Robinhood you can.
I have a lot to say about Robinhood, but I'm gonna set that to the
That's
side.
fair. That's fair. Okay, that's fair. Yeah. But on Robinhood, you can buy a partial stock. But yes, on like E-Trade, Ameritrade, those big ones, yes, you have to buy one whole share. So like for instance, like Tesla being, $700 a share, that's a lot of people would consider that a pretty large investment to just get one. So what you're saying is that with crypto, you have the ability to buy a portion. You don't have.
Yeah, you can buy. Fractional shares. That's a better way to put it. Yeah, sorry about that.
So you can buy a fractional of a share. So you can go in and buy, $100 of Bitcoin. That's perfectly fine.
Yeah. And this is why I laughed, and I said that jokingly, but also seriously, because if the price of 47,000, which is a cumulative, if 47,000 has you scared, what price will make you go ahead and jump in? Because last week it was just, it jumped down like 30,000.
Yeah. If you'd bought one Bitcoin 2 weeks ago, you'd already doubled your money.
I mean, during the pandemic, this was like February 2020.
I don't want to talk about this.
I
don't want to talk.
the week of the concert, I remember. How crazy crypto I am, man. I'm in the concert. The DJ is playing, and I'm like, all right, you know what? Let me check these crypto prices, man. I'm like, okay, all right, they're good. But I remember the price of Ethereum was roughly like $90. I remember that. Ethereum is at $3,300 right now. And as I said before, if today doesn't do it for you, what will it take for you to jump in? I think that's what everybody who's hesitant about cryptocurrency should answer for themselves. I mean, one, do your research. I wouldn't recommend anybody jumping into something without doing the research. But two, know your price points. If like Cardano right now is $2.11. If
it's $2.11 now?
Yes. If Cardano,
check my account.
It just went up to $2.12.
Oh,
so if Cardano is too much for you at $2.12, what will be low enough, or what will be, what price is it for you? And that's why I say anybody who can, like, whoever can answer that question for themselves, they'll know whether they want to get into crypto or not, man. But I mean, that's honestly why I laughed about it, because it's
so this is still a good time to buy. I mean, how?
Any time is a great time to buy.
Okay.
But there's a strategy to it. So have you heard of dollar cost averaging, or DCA? So what that is imagine you just set your Coinbase exchange on auto pay, so you can auto deduct money from your account, and just say you purchase $500 of Bitcoin every month. You can actually do that.
Yeah.
And doesn't matter what price it is. You just keep purchasing money. I mean, I like doing auto pay because that's just, I'm an advocate for auto pay. Excuse me, because human nature. I mean, just imagine if every time you saw the price go down, or you chase the price, it's like chasing the wave. I said earlier, you can't chase every wave.
Yeah.
So if you just set it on autopilot, let the exchange work for you. And that's one exchange I'm an advocate of. It's called Swan Bitcoin, Swan like Black Swan. And how that operates is that you can dollar cost average or auto deduct money from your bank, purchase it into Bitcoin, and then what Swan does is that it sends that Bitcoin into a digital wallet that you designate. So just say with the ledger.
Okay.
So imagine you have a ledger, and then you have Swan, and then you have your bank. So you can say the 15th of every month, you want the bank to send $500 to Swan, and then Swan will have the $500 converted to Bitcoin, and then they'll send that converted Bitcoin into your ledger. And that's for someone who doesn't want to, you know, go through all the hoops and hurdles of transferring money here, transferring crypto to there. So it essentially does it for you, and it's free.
Yeah.
It's a free service.
Yeah.
So when I say it's very early to get into cryptocurrency, to get into just this space, I can't stress enough how at the tip of the iceberg we are. I mean, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So
we
mhm.
talked about it in Ben's episode where he said that he learned about Cardano in like what 2015, I think he said 2015,
Yeah.
2016, where it was like pennies on the dollar, like pennies of pennies, and
Hmm.
now it's $2.11 as of just now. Like,
Yeah. And that's the thing, with me, I'm always looking, towards the end, when I get involved in something. And honestly, what pushed me to get into the space, because I'm more so I was more so interested just working in the space, uh making a career out of the space. And then when you look at the investment, and it's like, you know what, I should invest in some of this technology that I like. Going back to the poli sci thing, man, I found this easy. I'm doing something that I enjoy, and it comes easy. So the same thing with crypto. Um, I like the technology. I'm actually a lawyer using the technology. So why not invest in the technology?
sure.
And just seeing how the numbers go. And that's the thing. We're looking at the numbers in dollars, in US dollars. One thing that a lot of us make a mistake on, and this is, I'll just say, depending on who you hear from, but I'll take the position on, it's a mistake to look at crypto only in dollars. Because if you look at it, and I'm not just saying for currency, I'm not saying like you don't look at Chinese yuan or euro or rupees, but just the dollar. If you just take away the fact that something is $47,000, and just know that there's only 21 million bitcoins out there, like there are no more. So once once people realize, what, this is actually a scarce digital asset. No one's making more of these. And do you want to be on the side of history to where you had the chance to join this digital revolution, or and you just sat on the sidelines, or you actually just say, what, I'll just buy $10 worth of Bitcoin in 2011. I'll just buy 30 Bitcoin just to have it, and
Well,
then now it's $20 million and something. It's just, yeah. So
crazy.
that's what happened to me. I looked at, I said, you know what, and I don't want my kids looking at me like, Dad, what were you doing when these Bitcoin prices were jumping out? Like, they were like $10, you know.
Yeah,
And, and
it's
and all I can
true.
do is just throw my hands up and just say, "Oh man, I thought it was a scam."
It's true. That's everything. Everything in life is an inherent risk, and I think it's been around long enough now, and like you said, it's here to stay. Like it's being integrated into society very slowly, but also quickly, because
Mm-hmm.
I guess the popularity really hit the last maybe 2, 3 years, where it's like most people are familiar with the term Bitcoin at this point.
Yeah.
Like it really jumped in popularity in 2019 when it first hit or 2018 when it hit the 20K.
Yeah, yeah. I
That's
remember
kind of
that.
when that's kind of when it went crazy, right? And then it dropped back down, like you said, pre-pandemic, dude. It was 3 grand.
Yeah, it's discount. and I'll just say, I'll say it again. I'll say like maybe 3 times, but I'll say it again. What price does Bitcoin have to get to for you to not stand on the sidelines?
Oh,
And that will let you know.
people are still so scared, and that I don't get. Because like you said, I mean,
But think about it. I mean, if people put up their bank statements, especially during the pandemic, I'm sure people spent thousands of dollars on just
thousands.
eating out.
Oh,
And just imagine if you just say,
sure.
you know what, I'm going to set aside $1,000. I'll buy some Cardano at what,
Yeah.
$90?
Yep. 90 cents. 90 cents.
90 cents.
Yeah.
So
At
my
90
bad, my bad.
cents.
At 90
90
cents.
cents. Yeah. Because I bought it at $1.
But just think about it. I remember Cardano was at 40 cents one time. My brother texted me about it. He's like, dude, check this out. I look, I'm like, oh wow. And then the next day, I think a couple of days later, Cardano's trading like 80 cents.
Yeah.
And
That's
I'm just
doubled
like,
your
it
money right
doubled.
then. Right then. Right then. Or
Yeah,
like you
man.
said, Ethereum.
Yeah, Ether's crazy. Yeah,
Dude,
yeah.
if you had, a couple Ethereums a
hmm
year ago, now, shit.
I would tell you how much Ethereum I had at one time, but I can't. I'm just one of those people. I can't say. I'm just
Oh,
publicly.
that bad
No,
or that
no, oh no,
good?
oh no, no, they're good, they're good, they're good.
Mm,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't have horror stories. Like if there's horror stories, it's that I didn't ask my parents for $1,000 in college and buy like two
yeah.
thousand bitcoins, man.
Yeah. Yeah, I
That's
know.
probably the only thing, man.
Oof, how your life would be different right now.
Yeah, I
We
probably
would
wouldn't be a
we
lawyer, but I like
we
helping
wouldn't be
everybody.
having this conversation.
We probably would have,
Eh,
man.
you would be chilling on a
Well,
yacht.
what's interesting though, see, I was off Twitter for a while. I mean, law school had me so focused. I went on a Twitter hiatus, and and it's funny you bring up Twitter. You brought up Twitter earlier, and I recently just jumped back on. I think like what 5 months ago,
Okay.
6 months ago.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I mean, it was dormant. I mean, I had like 13 followers, like, and that's because I deleted one. I mean, like it wasn't like I was just recluse,
Yeah.
but I had one, and I don't care about the followers and all that stuff, but I had one account. I just deactivated. I got tired of it. It was just I had so much negative on my timeline. It was like, what's the point? But I was
Yeah.
at the mind frame of I can choose what I want to look at, and now the timeline I have now is just it's just so much positive. It's so much game on there. I mean, I love the fact you're doing a podcast, man. I learned so much from you. Um, in the show, I learned so much. I know you had Deontay and Dane on here. I learned so much from their podcast,
Yep.
man. Just
Yep.
so much positivity. It's so many people who are actually like, doing something and not just getting up and saying like just complaining, man. I mean,
There.
there are things to complain about, but it's just I mean, it's like a book. If you keep reading a book, you'll soak in the information. And to me, Twitter is like an open book. And if you just keep reading negative stuff, man, you will
Dude,
take it home.
it takes a toll, man. It
Yeah.
takes a toll, like constantly seeing like all the stuff on Twitter. It's exhausting, like you said. I mean, that's shit. That's half the reason why I'm going to Colorado by myself is just to turn my phone off, put it on airplane mode, do not disturb, have it out for pictures. That's it. Like I'm not, and it's my birthday, and there's gonna be a lot
Oh
of
yeah,
people.
yeah.
There's gonna be a lot of people who are upset that day when they don't get no response. But
No, it'll be the best birthday you've given to yourself in a
dude,
while.
I agree. I really agree. I can't
Mhm.
wait, man. And that's exactly what it is. It's just like everything right now is just so polarizing and so daunting and so negative and just everyone just yelling at each other just back and forth for whatever reason it is. And it's just like you said, man, it's cool to see the people getting up and just doing things.
Mhm.
I love their podcast, Dan and Deontay, the Duo
Yeah.
Sports and Stuff podcast. I love it, dude. It's great. They talk about some great stuff. They have some great points. I love when they cover the Marvel stuff. They're just having
Mhm.
fun. They're just kicking the shit. They're having fun. That's what this is about. This is about having fun,
Yeah.
about telling people that they're not alone in whatever it is that they're going through on their daily basis. It's not that we don't struggle the same way that other people struggle. We handle it differently. We get up and
Hmm.
take care of business, and we make, maybe it sounds easy, but shit, dude, I've been in a funk for the last 2-3 weeks. I mean,
Hmm. Hmm.
I barely posting on social media. I post a little bit more on my main account, but on the podcast account, I don't post all that much. I've been kind of torn up about the vaccine discussion, the COVID
Yeah, yeah,
discussion, the
I got you.
political discussion. I've been so torn on it, and like, things that I've said on the podcast that shows that, episodes that haven't came out yet. I'm still torn on. I'm like, damn, should I edit this out? Should I keep it in? Should I leave it? Like,
It can take a
how,
toll on you. Yeah.
right? How are people gonna perceive me based on, what I said in that moment? Because that's what we're doing. We're just thinking out loud. There's no script to
Yeah.
this. I didn't tell you what to say before this. We didn't write anything down. We don't put anything, there's nothing in front of us to read or anything like that. We're just talking in the moment, how we feel in that exact moment. And that, how we feel in
Mhm.
that moment, might not be how I feel about it, a couple hours from now when I, sit down and reflect on it. And it does take a toll. And really what kind of keeps me going is like, which, you, and then I have had Jonathan Hildner on the last episode, who's the
Yeah.
future congressman, him telling me that, this is something that people need to hear. This is I have a perspective that people should hear. Like, think like that. That's what keeps me going. Because in my head, I'm like, bro, I don't even want to put this out.
But
I
you're,
don't want to.
your biggest critic, man.
I am,
To your
for
point,
sure.
um, um, Andre 3000. I'm sure
Yep,
you know,
yep, yep.
he he's arguably one of the better hip hop producers. I don't even want to put him in the realm of hip hop because he's written for pop music and other genres. But anyway, he had a song, he had a beat he made, and I just think about like his creative genius. And he said that he was so fearful of how people would think of this beat or this song that he kept it locked away. And he didn't tell anybody about it. I think until like maybe like a couple years. And but he wanted to put it, he wanted to put it out, but he's just like, man, like I don't think it's good enough. I think people are gonna say I suck, and I fell off. But those are the growing pains. Everyone sees just the output, but the input that no one sees, I mean, it's a journey.
Yeah.
It's a grind, and that's why I say no, keep going, man. I'm having fun. Listening to everybody's shows, man. I can't remember everybody's name, but there are so many people I learned so much from, and do a lot of inward looking, and it just makes me help me be a better person, honestly.
And that's the goal, man. That's the goal. I don't want anybody to take anything that's been said, and like, you gotta take everything with a bit of grain of salt. Like, uh, again, the feeling that I had maybe in that moment might not be the same feeling that I have an hour ago, or maybe like, we're in this moment, we're talking, and maybe the articulation of something is just not exactly the way that I want it
Mhm.
to be, and that's just how this is just how this kind of conversation goes, and that does take a toll, man. It's just or at least it has taken a little bit of a toll, especially when it's a real polarizing topic, like some of the topics we've covered in the last couple episodes. And when it's that polarizing, yeah, I hope that people continue to remember that it's like, look, man, I'm just looking at everything from all around, all angles.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I just want to discuss everything from all angles so that people can make the best decision for them. And I don't like, people shouldn't be judged based on the decisions that they make.
Yeah, yeah. I was gonna say,
Uh,
and I think that's what makes it great, to where you allow everybody to just show up and be themselves,
yeah,
and instead of just saying like, no, this is all we're talking about. We're not we're not discussing any other opposing viewpoints or anything
yeah.
like that, and it doesn't matter if it's opposing or in support, but you give everybody a platform, and that's I think was great. Everybody should have a platform.
Dude,
Now
I
somebody may
agree,
not
man.
agree, but I feel like everybody should be heard. I
I
think that.
agree. I agree. I agree. And we can go into this, but we're not. Let's talk about crypto. But
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but
You
no,
good.
I agree with that statement. And um But yeah, man, the whole crypto thing is great. Yeah, there's an opportunity for people to make money. There's an opportunity for people to make real money. There's an opportunity, and reading about the coins and kind of doing those little coin-based things that you were talking about, it really shows how they can impact society as well positively.
Yeah,
Uh, and you know, I, some of the big ones, at least, and this isn't, financial advice, but some of the bigger ones that people are investing in is Ethereum, Bitcoin, Litecoin, Cardano.
hmm
Those are good ones. Those are good ones that most people would recommend. That those are the ones to jump into. Those are the ones that are going to be implemented into society or already being implemented into society that
yeah,
you can use in your day-to-day life. Um, and I know, like with Ethereum, at least you can do, and I know some other ones do this too, but you can like stake your money into it where you can't
yeah,
you
yeah,
can't pull it out, but you get just some insane interest rates.
yeah. I mean, these are you're talking about interest rates, and I really hate to say this. I'm not anti-bank, but it's just if you're literally looking at,
Oh, if
okay,
you're yeah, if you're looking
I
at the
have
savings account your bank offers you compared to what they're offering with crypto, it's
it's
insane.
crazy. Yeah, I mean, just imagine getting 0.05% on your money in a savings account,
Yeah,
and right now,
that was still pretty high.
Cardano has like a 9% growth rate in one day. Like you
Yeah.
literally, grew your money 9% instead of waiting on like 0.05 of a year. It's yeah. But everybody you can do whatever you want to with your money.
Sure, sure, do what you want with your money. There's more
Yeah.
for us.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
More Bitcoin.
yeah, yeah, yeah. More for me.
Yeah.
No, I've been enjoying this whole experience with crypto and diving into it. I need to read more, so I wrote down those
Man, if
kind of the
you
coin desk
I
that you
have
were
a
talking about in
book.
the articles.
I have a book. If you really want to dive, like take a deep dive. I took a course at NYU. I got like a certificate in fintech,
Hmm.
and it's exactly what it says. I mean, it's financial, short for financial technology. But I took the course because, as I told you about, having that bug, that finance bug. I want to learn more about, hey, where are we going with cryptocurrency? How does this affect the law? How does it affect just life period?
Hmm.
And the course is great, but this book is amazing. I mean, they break down Bitcoin mining, and I'll name it. It's called Bitcoin and Cryptocurrency Technologies. It's by
Yeah, yeah,
five.
because not everybody's watching.
Yeah, it's by five authors. One is named. Yeah, I'll butcher these names, but Arvin Narayanan, Joseph Bono, Edward Felton, Andrew Miller, and Stephen Goldfelder. But if you definitely want a comprehensive introduction on it, that's a blue book with with a lot of Bitcoin bees on it, and it does a great job. I mean, they even talk about Dogecoin. I mean, before Dogecoin was what it is now. I mean, this book was published in like 2017. So um, for those who really want to take a deep dive and you're still not convinced, so read that book or just check it out, see what's in it.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like there seems just like there's, at least talking to you and talking to Ben, there just seems like there's so many benefits from this, that this only makes life better, that this
Yeah,
just makes society better.
yeah, no, it does, it really does. And I will say this: one thing I left out is the biggest argument against Bitcoin
Yeah,
and blockchain,
let's talk about that. Because
and
again,
and
opposing views,
yeah, and one of the biggest arguments is that this is used for uh,
black market.
enterprises, black markets, just tax evasion. A lot of things that you can just say, okay, this is going to land me in jail. Like,
Yeah,
and people can do that with cash. So that's kind
sure.
of like that statement kind of just stands on its own, but just saying like, well, we can do the same thing with cash. So what's the difference with?
Yeah, and the tax evasion thing, it's like, bro, the tax book is like 100 pages, and 96 of it tells you how to avoid them, and 4 pages tells you how to pay it. Like, come on, man. Like
Yeah, yeah. So
this.
and that's, I'll just say that's where the beginning, I'll just say the beginning of the argument started, to where you had exchanges that were actually, getting sued by the government, to where they had to like create these anti-money laundering provisions, or they can operate. So like with Coinbase, they have a certain, they have, I just said, they have certain tools and procedures they had to implement in order to be, what Coinbase is today. And then there are other exchanges that we don't know about today because they were actually shut down, back then. And if you've heard of Silk Road, I'll just say that's SILK Road. If you look at what happened with Silk Road, that's basically the government coming down on someone who didn't comply with anti-money laundering provisions, and so crypto. But other arguments are, this is used as a get rich quick scheme. Like it's a scam. Um, Everyone has their own definition of scam, so I can't really comment on that. But I'll just say, do your research. That's
Yep.
the best way I can say. Just do your research. Coin Market Cap, CoinDesk, they'll give you a lot of info. Um, and another big argument is that, what's the use? What, like, why do we need the coin? And the issue with that is that the conversation like focuses more on the coin and the digital currency,
And not.
and it just bypasses the technology. But you can't have one without the other. I mean, of course, if you have a token like Doge, yeah, you can have Doge without a blockchain, but it doesn't matter what Doge has, because what technology benefit is Doge bringing, to the table? Not to diminish Doge, but I'm just saying it has to be on another blockchain in order to be valuable. And if we just talk about the coins, that's just no, you can't. You have to talk about the technology which powers the coins. And I broke it down for somebody. I said, when you look at Bitcoin's price, that's the price of the technology. So imagine that the technology is a stock. That's the price of investing into that.
Mm,
You
I
know,
like I like that. I like that a lot.
and as we say, I don't know how much Tesla is, but we know we can look at the price for Tesla. We'll see that price. That's the price for Tesla, the company. And then just imagine. So, I mean, of course, Bitcoin is not a company, so I'm not going to use that word. But I'll say Bitcoin is technology, Bitcoin blockchain technology. That $47,000 figure you see is the price of the technology. So I guess now we could change our sentence and say, at what price does the technology need to get in order for somebody to say, what, this is actually worth investing in? And I tell you what, if Tesla was $47,000, I don't know I don't know what people would do.
Dude, that'd be wild.
Yeah, I mean, besides retire.
For real though, dude. Man, yeah, like we said earlier, the I had all of it at low prices and just fumbled the bag so bad, so poorly. Just fumbled it. Fumbled it. I'm real proud of myself. I haven't touched anything in months. Just
uh,
just chilling. It's all just chilling. Um,
just
and so
keep, as I said, just keep holding, and or hodling, as I say, holding on for dear life. Just keep holding on, man, and
yep,
dollar cost average.
yep.
I mean, that's the best way to
Yeah,
play
that
it.
that's probably the one thing that I can improve on is probably adding a little bit more in there. I haven't added anything in a couple of months either.
And
Um,
man, yeah, it can
so
be
I
the same price, $10 a week, $10 a month, whatever.
yeah, I mean, and if you're buying into something like Ripple or Cardano that's at a lower price, $10 a month can really start to add up because that's
Hmm.
multiple coins that you're buying every month. Until those start to hit higher prices.
Yeah, yeah.
So
But
that's
oh yeah, yeah. How much time do I have, man?
oh, dude, you're good, bro.
Yeah,
What you
yeah.
got? You good? You done?
Oh yeah, no, I'm good. I'm good. Yeah, I just know, man. With this, I mean, it's still evolving.
Oh
I
yeah.
mean, even when even when you and I may have thought, okay, you know what, we've covered everything. No,
Oh, we haven't
we've
touched we
we've
haven't barely
covered a
touched the
lot,
surface.
but we haven't even touched NFTs.
Yeah.
Like
Oh yeah.
it's
Speaking of which.
yeah, yeah. So this goes. So I'll bring up the umbrella again. Just imagine an umbrella that says cryptocurrency. One side is tokens, one side is coins. Uh, NFTs fall under tokens. The T stands for token. The NF is non-fungible. So it's non-fungible token. Um, to make this as layman as I can, um, a non-fungible token is essentially what you would call a Bitcoin. What I mean by that is when we said that Bitcoin only has 21 million, like there are only 21 million Bitcoins, that means no other coin can be duplicated. It cannot be cut in half and made into two. That's just it. It's just 21 million coins. Um, Now with NFTs, these non-fungible tokens, you probably heard them termed as like digital art, or well, I'll just leave it at that. I'll leave it at digital art. Um, what's pretty cool about NFTs is that there's only one of them. So imagine a Picasso, Picasso painting, and then you hear about museums, having fakes or replicas of Picasso paintings. But just imagine Picasso's living in 2021, and he does a painting, in his basement or whatever. And what he does is that with whatever technology he has, he scans the Picasso and he creates an NFT of it. And then just that he destroys it. So the only Picasso, the only painting, that one painting that Picasso just did only exists in that NFT. And what I mean by that NFT is that he has to go through a process. Picasso will have to go through a process to digitize it. So what that means is that he would, as I said, he would scan it. You can make a meme in NFT. You can make an album, like a CD album, an NFT. There's so many things you can make as NFTs, like the Last Dance, Michael Jordan documentary. You can literally make every episode of that NFT. Like you can make every song of, I don't know, Taylor Swift's latest album as an NFT. Like you can really do that. And what I won't talk about the legal consequences of using other people's work, but I'll just say you can make NFTs of that. Going back to the Picasso example, there's only this one. I call it Picasso number one. So that one piece of digital art Picasso did is Picasso number one. You cannot get this anywhere else. It's literally his Picasso number one. What happens is that he puts this on the blockchain. Which blockchain? The Ethereum blockchain. The reason it's the Ethereum blockchain is because, and sorry if I'm going a little fast, NFTs are used on the Ethereum blockchain. So in order for those who are interested in NFTs, for those who want to create an NFT or purchase an NFT, you must have Ethereum or Ether. So you don't. If anyone tells you that you need Bitcoin to purchase an NFT or to create an NFT, they're misleading you. If they tell you Cardano, no, it's Ethereum. And what you would do is that there's different formats, there's different exchanges that you would go through. But I'm just keeping it as simple as possible. So what Picasso would do is that he would basically take ownership to the NFT. He'll put it on the Ethereum blockchain. Now, everyone who's on the Ethereum blockchain can see Picasso number one. They see the digital art, and you can try to duplicate it if you want to, but just like Bitcoin, you can't duplicate it. You can't make two copies of the same thing. You can only do one transaction. There can only be one owner at one time of the NFT. So that's essentially NFTs in a nutshell. Is that it's digital art, and you need Ethereum in order to create the NFT. And once you create the digital art, I mean, you're the owner forever until someone purchases the digital art.
Oof. We're
But
gonna have
it's a lot. That's why I say it's a lot, but it's very simple. It
yeah,
is simple.
I kind of get it. but then I don't get it. And that's just the same way I felt in the Ben's episode. Like I get what you're saying. Like I understand the words that are coming out of your mouth.
Yeah.
But if I was to try to turn around and then explain this to somebody else, nah.
That's why I say go with the digital art. If you just tell somebody, it's essentially it's the same way you have uh, currency. You have a dollar, like you can feel it and touch it. You have the digital currency. I mean, you can't feel it, you can't touch it, but you know it's there. Same thing.
Yeah.
You have a painting. You can feel it, you can touch it. Then you have the digital version of that same painting. But the difference is that you can't duplicate this. You can't create a fake digital painting. Like
Yeah.
digital
I
painting,
yeah.
yeah, it's just one digital painting. Now you can create the fake hard copies of whatever you want to, you know. But as when it's on the blockchain, there's no more like two of the same thing. It's it's that one. That
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. And I think Ben touched on that too, like the whole you can't duplicate something on the blockchain.
No, you
Um,
can't. Mm-mm.
I think that was a big thing that he touched on as well. And so there's 21 million Bitcoins, and they all haven't been mined yet, right? We're working towards the very end
We are very close. We're close to the end than we are to the beginning.
because once they're done mining, that's when this all gets real crazy.
I mean,
Potentially.
it's already
Potentially.
crazy. But see,
But we could see numbers that
yeah,
are nuts.
we can. I believe so.
Like there's some
Yeah.
people who think they could hit 100,000 at any moment.
I'll put it this way. Have you seen Berkshire Hathaway stock?
Um, I'm maybe no.
Just pull up the number so you can see how the potential of what Bitcoin could be. But this is stock though. And you'll see the price of Berkshire Hathaway.
Woo! Sheesh!
That's yeah. That's current stock value
400
right now.
$432,900 a share.
Yeah.
Damn.
So that's what makes me laugh when I say it's still too early.
Mm.
If it took
Still so
Berkshire
early.
Hathaway, if it took them like what 60 years to get to that, and Bitcoin's already at, Bitcoin touched 60,000. I mean, I'm not saying it's not. I'm not saying it's going to take Bitcoin 60 years. I'm saying it's going to take less
Yeah.
for it to hit that number.
Yeah. Yeah. So buy. Not financial
Yeah.
advice, but
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't want to keep you from the fiance too long, man. It's kind of late. We're already at 3 hours, but
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
there,
Okay. Yeah. Well,
there's before we wrap it up because we got to look. We got to do a whole episode where this is all we talk about.
yeah. No, that's
Obviously,
great. That's great.
I haven't seen you in years. We're gonna catch up. We're gonna kick the shit a little bit, but we definitely
Of
got to
course,
do an
man.
episode where that like we let you just go nuts, and I just sit here and don't say a word. Um,
Yeah.
we definitely got to do that, and we'll definitely have to get Ben in on this one too. I think that'd be a lot of fun. I think
That'd be great, man.
y'all two would nerd the fuck out. Dude, he's so intelligent. Like it was crazy sitting there talking to him. He just the way, like you said, the way that he articulates is just it's something else. Um, but no, throughout the podcast, I was thinking, I was like, how did Brian and I meet? And I don't know what came first, but I want to say it was basketball.
Definitely. Yeah, I remember playing. Yeah, I remember hooping with you, man.
Dude, you were
Um,
always playing with us average Joes, and you
Get
were
out of
always
here,
such
man.
yeah, you were always such a stud, bro. And you were definitely one of the better basketball players that would play because like the courts were it was very obvious. Okay, there was your D2, your D3 athletes, the people trying out for the Sam Houston basketball team. They had if you were walking into the courts, they had the far left court. That was their court. Boom. That
Yeah,
was it. Right. And then you had your intermediate guys, where my defense, that's where I fell. I couldn't do nothing else, but I could play defense. That's where I fell on that next court to the to the left of that court. And you were definitely on that far court, but you would always come and play with us too, and it was always a good time. And I was so like throughout the podcast, I was trying to remember like where we met, and it was definitely that. And then I feel like there was something else. I don't know, it was probably basketball.
Yeah, I mean, definitely
I
basketball.
I think about those days a lot, dude.
Yeah, it's fun, man.
Dude, playing in the rec center. What was better than that?
Nothing,
What
nothing,
was better
man.
than that, dude? Just going after a long day of class, work, whatever. Going in there, you would hit the weights a little, and then you go play basketball for your cardio. And it wasn't. I don't think
Mhm,
people. It's really hard. I don't know how other rec centers look, but the level of competition in there was dope.
mhm.
Like
Oh,
we
it was
got
fun.
we got after it,
That's why I play with everybody, man. Like I
dude.
know you said I know you got your guys. I don't know. I guess the court usually on the average Joes, but it's like with me, man. I don't care, man. It's just like, hey, y'all wanna play? You know.
Yeah,
I mean, that's honestly just that was my attitude the whole time. I mean, there were some people I did not want to play with. Um, not gonna say names, but it's just like
dude. Fucking Chappelle. Is that his name? Was that his name?
Chappelle's cool, man.
Dude, no, no,
Chappelle's
no. I
cool.
love Chappelle. No, no, no.
Yeah,
He was
yeah,
great to play with. Dog.
yeah.
The shots he would hit.
Oh man, he reminded me. So when I saw Lou Will hooping, like I'm like, man, this dude, like he had like Chappelle had Lou Williams energy, just making shots with ease. I
Dude,
mean, he would just like throw up half court shots with his eyes closed.
bro, he was nuts. He was
Yeah,
nuts. I could never.
and
Was the 3-point record? Was that whole thing about him hitting all those shots in a row? Was that a real thing, or was that? I never did confirm, or like did that
it
actually
probably
happen? I
yeah
think he said he went 96 of 100.
yeah yeah he did. Now he perfected his shot, man.
Dude, he
That's
was
crazy.
nuts. Yeah, he was nuts. But no, I
Mhm.
know. But back to what I was saying. Like there was nothing better than that, dude. There was everybody in that court, everybody in that rec center playing with each other from
Yeah, yeah.
all walks of life. We were just all in there just playing basketball.
I think the funniest thing, man, was me coming from Dallas, and there was some guys, from Dallas as well. But I love the energy that Houston Hoopers brought to the court. You know, I probably never told those Houston guys that, but I'll just say like in Dallas it was more finesse. Like we were kind of flashy when we play. But in Houston, I mean, they play like just great defense. I mean,
Yeah.
they can score. I mean, they kind of like James Harden. I mean, I don't want to say the defense. Of course, James doesn't play defense,
Oop,
but I just say when it comes to the scoring and the
it's James
aggressiveness,
Harden.
yeah, when it comes to the scoring and aggressiveness, man, from the Houston Hoopers I played against, man, I'm
I
just
see what you're
like,
saying.
man, they made me a better defender for that because up here it's just like you can get away with stuff like I mean you have more shooters up here. I mean
Yeah.
when I moved down there it's just like they would literally yell out shooter because I mean, I'm just so used to just shoot, man. And I had to like change my whole game up, man, playing against Houston guys, man, but it was cool.
Yeah, dude, you always took that role of point guard, and it was always fun playing intramural basketball. It was just so much fun, man. And I loved it, dude. I prided myself on the ability to just play defense. And the very few times that I got to play on the far, that far left court, the very few times they picked me up. There
Yeah.
was a few times in my short lived. Yeah, so funny story. I never played basketball prior to that.
Wow. I like that. I
So
like
I
that.
I
You
never
got out there, man. I
yeah,
like that.
yeah, I never played basketball prior to that. But very quickly, a lot of people respected the defense aspect. Like I could play
Hmm.
defense, I could jump, and that was enough for most people when it came
But
to like
see,
picking teams.
and that was perfect for me because it's just like I knew like with you on my team, I know that you're gonna irritate whatever other guy. So
Yeah.
it's kind of like if you're on the best ball handler, that's perfect.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
like
that's what I love. That's what I was getting at. So the very few times I got to play on that higher level court, the very few times they picked me up,
yeah,
I just loved I can't remember anybody by name on that court specifically,
Mm,
but I
mm,
loved exactly what you were saying. Whoever was the best ball handler, whoever was that person, like Chappelle, for instance, like I loved guarding
yeah.
that dude. I loved guarding him,
Mm,
and it was just like the NBA. Sometimes you got your hand all in his grill and it don't matter. He's just gonna wet it. But that's what it is. But I
yeah.
loved making people work for each and every basket.
That's great.
Every
That's great.
time. I loved it, dude. I
Mm,
loved it. I just love that greediness. I fight, so I love that.
mhm,
I
mhm.
love that grittiness. I loved playing defense. I love playing that aspect of it, the rebounds, the boxing out, the whole 9 yards. Like that was my game. I enjoyed it so much. But dude, I miss those days so much. There's just, you can't.
You think back on them and just smile, man.
Yeah, you do, and you're like, you're never gonna find another group that big of that many motivated people to play
Wow.
pickup
Yeah.
games like that. Like that's never gonna happen again. Like we're never gonna have that opportunity in our life again for something like that. And it was just
Yeah.
something just so special. And it's the little things in life, it's the little things that you think back on. Like I had a wonderful experience at Sam.
Hmm.
I had wonderful professors. I have wonderful things, but some of the very first things that come to mind is working out in that rec center with
Yeah.
some of those ginormous people, ginormous dudes in there, the chicks getting after it, the whole 9 yards, and then playing basketball, dude, and playing the
Hmm.
intramural sports. Like that's what comes to mind first when I think about Sam and I think about those days there, and just like the school was awesome, the professors were awesome. But I'm sure a lot of people have that same experience with the professors and the
Yeah.
school. But dude, I don't know how many people have that same experience that we had with the rec center. Like I don't know. And maybe I want somebody else from a different college listening to this. I want you to tell me what your experience was like in the rec center. But dog, like the energy in there it was unreal.
I agree.
It's like we were playing real college basketball each and every night. Like we went in there and got after it. Nobody was in there half-assing. If you were playing on those two front courts, not not
Hmm.
the not the right court on the other side of the wall,
Yeah. Yeah. That was the warm
where
up
you
court.
yeah, where you were
Yeah.
where you went where I even looked good over there. That wasn't the good court, right? But if you were on these two courts to the left, right when you walk in those double doors, you were hooping or you weren't allowed to hoop no more.
Hmm.
It was
Hmm.
real simple. And damn, dude, like I get myself all worked up like thinking about it. Like I loved it, bro. It was so much fun like that. Just that level of competition, man.
Yeah. Yeah,
Just that
man.
level of competition. I love it, dude. Look, man, I enjoyed this. We did
Yeah.
shit
Same here.
a
We
little
gotta do
over
it
three
again, man.
hours, dude. We have to. We have to. We have to let you go gung ho and gung wild on blockchain and crypto and the whole 9 yards, and we'll have to and see where we are whenever we do the next episode. See where everything is. See where we're at. You know, be able to have so many more things to talk about. And
I
I
mean,
really
who knows
appreciate.
it? I was like, who knows? It might be a crash and people say it's a scam again.
Boom,
I'm joking.
done. Yeah, right.
I'm
Shoot,
joking.
that's what everybody was saying these last couple of months. They were like 18,000. What? But really,
Yeah.
you should have been buying, which I didn't because I'm broke. But
Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead. Sorry about it.
yeah, no, no, that's a good point. But I'm throwing pins and shit. No, I really appreciate you doing this, man. I think a lot of people can take some pretty awesome things from this episode. I really enjoyed this. This helped me. Like I said, I've been in a mental funk the last couple of weeks. We've been real just talking about this is. I was super excited for this episode because I knew that we didn't have to talk about any of that other stuff. Like we
Okay.
didn't we
Okay.
didn't have to talk about none of that. I knew that wasn't going to be something that wanted to be brought up. And we kind of, we touched a little bit on it, but that was just a natural conversation. But this was a nice episode because the last couple episodes have been just real heavy political politics, da 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 da. And so this was a good change of pace. And I think a lot of people listening are going to enjoy this episode because it is a change of pace compared to the episodes that are that we did previously. And so I really appreciate that. Appreciate you kicking the shit with me.
Yeah. Yeah. No problem.
Let me know when you're in town. We got to get some food.
I will,
Uh,
man.
and
Yeah. Yeah. My fiance and I love soup dumplings. So
ooh,
yeah.
Linz. They're both on 6th Street. So Linz is owned by another person that owns the sister restaurant on 6th Street as well. I don't remember the name, but there's both of those are supposed to be really good. But I've been to Linz. It's phenomenal. But yeah, man, tell everybody where they can find you, shout yourself out, do the whole 9 yards, whatever you wanna plug, go for it.
Yeah. So I'm on Twitter. I'm on LinkedIn. Twitter handle is I need to pull this up actually. I'm getting so old, man. I don't even remember
Um,
anymore. Uh, but it's a B King underscore ESQ,
yep.
and you can find me on LinkedIn. Uh, what else? I'm on Facebook, but I don't look at messages. That's not best. But Twitter and LinkedIn is best for me. And my brother has a great uh, catering company. If you want some good barbecue, I don't know if you've seen this
Yeah, so
barbecue.
I've seen some of these pictures. That's your Okay, maybe I missed
Yeah,
that part. I didn't know that was your brother.
yeah, that's my brother, man. So
Okay.
he does meal prep and catering. Then he also does. I mean, if he just wants some barbecue, he'll get it done. But anyway, if
Oh,
you
hell
go to
yeah,
his
dude.
website, it's ctsmealprep.com. He's on Facebook and Instagram as well, but it's ctsmealprep.com.
Boom, just followed it.
And yeah, man, he's great. I mean, of course, he's my brother. He's great. And yeah, I mean, so much food that I've seen this man uh, create. I mean, from catering um, on the lake, to doing brunches at other venues, to doing weddings. I mean, doing meal preps for people. I mean, his page will say more than I can say in 2 minutes. So yeah, definitely give him a shout out, man. He has great food.
Oh yeah, dude.
Yeah.
I love it, man. I love it. We talked about that. Cooking's awesome, bro.
Yeah.
Look, man, I enjoyed it. Like I said, 1,000 times. I enjoyed it. I appreciate you. Thanks for
Yeah.
coming on. Uh, and yeah, man, I look forward to doing this again. And yeah, dude, appreciate you.
All right. Sounds good, man. Nice to see
Absolutely,
you.
man. Boom.
Yeah.
Deuces, guys.